No. How? How did he do that? Because it posts that you're coming. I don't know. We weren't live. It didn't say we were live.
Good night.
Here we go.
Wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is live on the Fan Upstate. It is Thursday, my dudes, my dudettes, and not just any old Thursday, not just a regular Thursday. It is WrestleMania Thursday. It is a day that we have been looking forward to. I almost just said forward to for a very long time. It is a day that Lonzo and I will celebrate. It is a day that those of you out there that are not wrestling fans are going to have to, and I'm going to say this very gently, kindly, and respectfully, shut up and get over it.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya.
What 2 words? Don't care.
Stay tuned because we'll be talking about other stuff too.
Maybe. I mean, we definitely will. We're going to talk Carolina Panther draft strategy on the show today. We're going to talk draft. Have you been following all of this stuff about Derek Carr over the last couple of days?
Yeah,
it's wild.
I sent you anything about his car thing.
Yeah. This is such a wild story. So Derek Carr, of course, the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, or anyway,
is he?
Was the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is currently not with the football program. Derek Carr is not only not with the football program, but has allegedly been dealing with a shoulder injury that was going to call his 2025 football season into question.
Come on down to Derek Carr's Cars. We got 2 R's in cars because we care more.
Derek Carr's Cars. Apparently, Diana Rossini put up a podcast earlier this week. And this is weird because this is not really like, I like Rossini. I think Rossini does a good job. But she put up a podcast in which she reported that Derek Carr might be faking this whole thing. Some NFL insiders seem to think that Derek Carr is faking this whole thing. She said on her Scoop City podcast. The extra R means extra savings. Very good, Kane. Very good. I like that a lot. Diana Rossini said, and she's not above speculation on her podcast. Of course, we all are. It's part of the fun of doing this job, totes Avi bros. But Diana Rossini said, quote, maybe this is Derek Carr looking at the situation going, I don't want the Kirk Cousins treatment. I don't want to be your quarterback. You guys draft a young guy, and it's basically, when is this guy going to play? Rossini also reported in the pod that the Saints are, and I quote, on a mission, end quote, to end this NFL draft with a quarterback. I want to be real clear. I would be talking about this story even if it wasn't my New Orleans Saints. I would be talking about this story if it was the Seattle Seahawks, the New York Football Jets. Pick your squad. Because when you have people like Rossini, because let's keep it a buck. If Rossini goes off on this and it's in any way, shape, or form something that damages New Orleans and therefore damages the NFL, she's doing herself more harm than good with this speculation. But she is not the only one reporting that it has been found very interesting that during the offseason, Derek Carr had his contract restructured. A restructure that converted just shy of $29 million of his $30 million base salary into a signing bonus. Now, that is not the end of the world, except for that reportedly happened without Derek Carr giving the old, I'm good with that thumbs up. Apparently the Saints were just like, hey, here's what we're doing, Derek Carr. Here's how this is going to go, Derek Carr. This is what it's going to be, Derek Carr. And Derek Carr and his team and his agents were pretty upset about it. They were mad about it. Now, again, still getting paid his money, so I don't really entirely know why. But I know there's a million other legal factors that go into all of this, like why it would matter. So Derek Carr, a week and a half ago, a story comes out from Derek Carr's camp that says he's dealing with this shoulder injury and that this shoulder injury is a threat to Derek Carr's 2025 football season. And that in and of itself, you might go, all right, Rob, like, is it that wild of a story? He's a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Right? Like, yeah. Kind of dropped out of the blue. This wasn't something that seemed to be a concern at the, like, I guess the question is, you waited until April 14th. April 14th is when you didn't have this evaluated. You weren't hanging out and going and seeing an orthopedic surgeon in like December, January, February, March. All those months after your season came to its conclusion.
Listen, Rob, I don't think you understand. Someone's got to move them cars, man. Okay? Someone's got to get out there, get them ready in the lot. Someone's got to get out there and work the people as they come in.
The reason that the Derek Carr's cars jokes are funny this morning is because about 2 days ago, a brand new YouTube channel popped up. A brand new YouTube channel in which Derek and his brother David, so now it's Derek and David's Cars. Derek and David launched a YouTube channel in which they are reviewing cars, exotic cars, custom cars. Think of it as like Exhibit on MTV, but like with less charisma. All right.
You don't know that?
No, I do. I watched one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Derek and David, they're not overwhelming the screen with Riz. Okay. Derek and David.
What's their demographic, though? I mean, for the demographic, they might be pretty good.
I don't know, man. My dad was a car show guy, and even the host back in the early 2000s had more Riz, baby, as the electrifying Tiger Woods would call it.
Maybe it's for the richer people who are
Riz, baby. We got Riz.
The richer people who already know that they're going to buy a car, so you don't need to, give them all that razzmatazz.
Nah, if you're going to be a successful influencer, you got to be able to say,
it's Riz, baby. We got Riz.
And they have zero, no, none.
Slay.
None. My guy, Joe Gibbs, has more.
The vibes are unmatched.
Riz. So, Derek Carr launches a YouTube channel with his brother David where they are reviewing very expensive cars. And in the first episode that they dropped, and I do not remember what type of car it was that they were reviewing because honestly, I really just didn't care that much. But in the first video that they dropped, they're like driving these cars, dude. They're like putting these cars through the paces. I mean, I will give them that. If nothing else, Derek and David Carr were absolute snoozers, but the car was cool. Like, I'm not a car guy. Sometimes I wish I was a car guy. I never got into being a car guy. Like, It's just not a lot to it for me.
What's the difference between being a car guy and a shoe guy?
One is shoes and one is cars primarily.
One's a little more expensive, but I don't get shoe people. I get
sure. I get
car guys.
I'm not disparaging car guys or shoe guys or hat guys or any other guys. You like what you like, collect what you want to collect, be involved in, and love what you love. I'm not here to judge that. I'm good with it.
I would like to have the kind of money where I could be a car guy.
I'm not even talking about owning cars. I'm talking about like just being super into them. If you call me and you're like, you want to go to a car show? I'm like, is the food going to be good? If the food's going to be good, I'm all in, right? Like, I'm just not, I never got hooked on like, let's go look at cars. Like, it's not my thing. And that's okay. Again, do your own thing, right? Love your own thing. Do your own thing. But I was never a car guy. I understand people who are, especially when you're talking like high-end exotic luxury cars, whatever. The point is, even the car that they were testing out on their first video, I'm like, it's pretty dope. Like, I don't really know a lot about it. When they start naming parts of the engine, well, it's a 19.2 liter. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm going to assume based on the fact that you're saying it on the YouTube channel that it's a good thing and it's something I should learn more about, but I got nothing for it. The problem wasn't all that. The problem was if you got a shoulder injury that is going to keep you from playing football next year, when you got a $30 million signing bonus and $60 million a year going toward the Saints cap next year, and you throw out a video, a YouTube channel, in which you're getting slung around the inside of a European luxury race car, days after you go, yeah, my shoulder, hey, boys, I don't know if I'm going to be available in September. I don't know if I'm going to be good by the time football rolls around 6 months from now. To then auto-launch a YouTube channel where you're like, however, watch me take this bank at $165 behind 410 horsepower, right? Like, it's a bad look. And it's led to some level of speculation. Like, Florio is in on it. Rossini is in on it. Like, names saying, we think Derek Carr might possibly be full of right now. We think he just doesn't want to be there anymore. And it wouldn't be big shock because part of the reason that the Carr camp may be mad about the converting his salary to signing bonus might be the fact that Derek Carr was asked at the end of the offseason last year by New Orleans media, would you restructure your contract and take a pay cut? You missed a lot of football last year. You were pretty mediocre in the football you didn't miss. Would you take less money so the Saints have a little more to invest in weapons around you? And Derek Carr's answer was directly, no. No, I would not. I would not take less money. There's no reason for me to take less money. I have no obligation to take less money, all of which is true. But he basically said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to do anything that helps the team. And then the team basically just did it for him. They're like, all right, well, you're not going to do it. Too bad, so sad. It's done. It's done now. So you're taking a little bit. It's not much, but a little bit less money. And don't get me wrong. Like, I get it. I can understand Derek Carr being upset. But what a time to launch a YouTube channel getting thrown around in a race car 4 days after you tell an NFL team that's paying you $90 million total next year or whatever that number is, that you're not available. It's just a weird, wild story. So anyway, Aaron Rodgers to the Saints. Am I right? No, I'm not right, by the way. Aaron Rodgers is going to go to somebody that's a contender, and this may shock you. That ain't us.
No, you're getting Shador, man. It's going to be
honestly,
cool.
At this point, I'm not convinced we're not trading up for Shador. I am convinced now if the Giants don't take him at 3, the Saints will move up to 4 or 5. We'll Mike Dick or Ricky Williams ourselves to go get him.
So is Shador better than Spencer Rattler? I don't know.
Shador Sanders is more of an athlete than Spencer Rattler is, and that is not an insult. Shador Sanders is a phenomenal athlete. He is a better athlete. Spencer Rattler, who I still think, it might take the whole time, has been, do not waste a number 9 pick on a quarterback who is A, not ready immediately we'll need a year or two of polish. And B, you're not really giving the weapons. We got Chris Olave and the ghost of Alvin Kamara. Like, that's what we have left there. Is that enough? You think Shedeur Sanders is going to show up and just be that guy? Now, if you ask me, and you guys know I love Spencer, you know I love Rat Daddy. I'm glad Rat Daddy's in NOLA. I would love for Rat Daddy to go on to be a New Orleans Saints Hall of Famer because it makes it easier to tell my wife, no, babe, don't play in a damn thing on Sundays for the next 4 months because the Saints are playing, because we're not playing on Monday nights or Thursday nights or Saturday. No national games for us.
Well, you do have to earn that. That's
exactly. No national games for us.
If you get good, though, there's more flex time this year. So you could flex into something. You could do that.
It is easier for me if Spencer Rattler goes big because right now when the Saints play, she's like, hey, Saints game tonight. We're sitting down to watch Rat Daddy, right? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But you don't get to call him that. Only I do.
She doesn't say that.
No, she doesn't say that.
Yeah,
but she did buy her Spencer Rattler jersey, and she's going to be real bummed if she bought it.
You hesitated just a little bit before you. Yeah.
I mean, listen. All right, I'm not a member of the toxic masculinity fan club. All right, I'm not. You don't want your girl calling somebody else daddy. Can we be real? Other than her actual daddy.
Yeah, but Rat Daddy.
Rat Daddy.
No, that doesn't have the same connotation as
Rat Daddy.
As he's my daddy.
I hope that he gets his shot, and I hope he succeeds and thrives for two reasons. Number one, great. Saints are good. Number two, Rob Brown looks like a genius because I walked him all the way up to the draft last year as steal before he was a Saints. Walked him all the way up to the draft as I think this could be steal of the draft. But also number three, because if he is Saints QB1, gonna be that much easier for the lady to consistently go, yeah, of course I didn't make plans. Spencer is playing. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. All right, we got a day lined up for you. We got some baseball to get to. Guess what? The Braves lose again. Spencer Strider comes back, gives up 2 runs, and that's all he needed to do. The Braves lose. We'll talk about that. NBA play-in continued last night. We'll tell you who's done and who's moving on to Friday's games and a whole lot more. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Anyone John Barenthal in a rom-com next? Just go the complete opposite way of every character you're playing in every movie.
Not, though. That's not a rom-com.
I know that. I'm saying I want him in a rom-com next.
I bet he's been in those. I'll have to look at it.
Mostly sunny and 86 on a Saturday, then mostly cloudy and 62 throughout Saturday night. I'm meteorologist Carol Foster on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than...
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Can't wait to hear what's next on Wire to Wire with Cole and Diesel.
Tell me what's coming up. Now that we've had some time to digest, what does the future look like for Nico at UCLA? The NBA play-in tournament picture gets just a little bit clearer as we inch toward elimination for 2 of these teams. Thursday is a great day. Why is that? Well, the Braves don't play, so you don't have to worry about losing, Braves fans.
Diesel and Cole Bryson really bring it on wire to wire.
Turn it on and leave it on.
Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate.
It's the Rick Johnson Show.
The crazy talk was that.
All right, he was in American Gigolo. I mean, that's a rom-com, right?
That's a rom-com.
Did you
I
know
don't think I've ever actually seen
he
it.
was in Ghost Recon?
I actually did know that.
Yeah. Is he the one that says "sorry, brother" when he pulls people out of cars? It sounds like it. I bet that's him.
Might be.
He's Cole D something in that.
We are not. We're not off tomorrow, are we?
Not off the what?
Brian asked if we're off tomorrow. I don't think we're off tomorrow.
No. What? Because of Good Friday, probably.
Eric texted the show, said Rob, the Saints tarnished their own reputation with the cover-up. I got to tell you, Eric, I'm genuinely struggling with this. Like, this is going to be one of those spots where that Venn diagram of sports and real life intersect with each other. It's circles. Venn diagrams is that one. And there's that little bubble in the middle, right there, that little bubble.
Okay, I know it's not, but there's intertwining. So
Intertwining.
That's
good word.
I mean,
I'm really struggling with this one, Eric. And I've talked about this before, but since we're here and since you texted and we give the people what they want, I'm struggling with this because on one hand, what the New Orleans Saints did, what the ownership of the New Orleans Saints did, disgust me as a person. For those of you that missed that story, I'm going to give you the loosest, most vague version of it that I can. Effectively, the Catholic Church in New Orleans had a lot of issues with child molestation. And at a point in time where they were trying to protect their image and reputation in that community, Gail Benson directed the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans to utilize resources, assets, and professional experience in order to help that church do that. Not necessarily cover it up per se, just so we're clear, but to manage the public relations crisis that was ongoing in that diocese. And they were basically using Saints' assets, resources, and professional experience to give the bishop of that diocese advice on what to say and not to say and when to say and not to say it to try to mitigate public feedback, public kickback from what had happened. And so my question then and my question now is, and Eric, since you texted the show, and I think it's fair, how do I handle that as a Saints fan? I'll tell you what I've done so far. You will notice that since that story broke, you have not seen Rob Brown wear a fleur-de-lis. I have not put on a Saints hat. I have not put on a Saints shirt. I have not consumed anything outside of the media. The fleur-de-lis tattooed on my back, can't really take that off. Kind of stuck with that. Also, I would point out, the fleur-de-lis tattooed on my back is not the New Orleans Saints fleur-de-lis, just so we're clear. It's not a generic fleur-de-lis. It's a personally designed fleur-de-lis, but it is not the Saints fleur-de-lis. However, I have not worn Saints merch since that story broke. I have not purchased anything from the New Orleans Saints or the National Football League since that story broke. I have not partaken directly in any New Orleans Saints produced media, including social media, since that story broke. I do not know what happens when football season rolls around. Can I keep it a buck with you? Like, this is a segment where Rob Brown is coming to you, not as like high charisma.
It's Riz, baby. We got Riz.
High energy. I love life. Everything's grand. Radio personality, Rob. This is like genuinely me. I am sincerely struggling as a fan with how to handle this situation, with what my reaction could be. Because what happened with the Catholic Church in New Orleans is disgusting. And what Gail Benson, the owner of this team, did in order to help them manage their image. No, that whole thing should be torn down and rebuilt with other people in charge. Everyone involved should be thrown not in the jail, but under it. And you're helping them manage their image. I do not know as a fan how I'm supposed to handle my feelings towards this. That there's a part of me that says disconnect entirely. I am not a fan until she is gone. I am not a fan until Gail Benson is no longer in charge of this team. And to be honest with you, I'm almost at that point just as a football fan, right? Like the fact that, and this is a tough spot because on one hand, I don't have my first, last, and only Lombardi Trophy experience without Mickey Loomis. On the other hand, that was 16 years ago. That was 2009, 2010. That was 16 seasons ago, I should say, that I got a Lombardi. We've done nothing since then. We gotten close a couple of times, but that was only because Drew Brees was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So Mickey Loomis is keeping his job. I fail to understand why. The Pelicans yesterday, my Birds, a team I am doing my best to continue to support. The Birds yesterday, they got rid of David Griffin, something I've been calling for a long time. They're replacing him with Joe Dumars, who's been running the NBA's basketball operations for a while. He's moving him to become the de facto GM for the Birds. You know what he says on day one of taking that job? They're keeping Willie Green, one of the worst three coaches in the NBA. That's his first decision. His first decision is to go, yeah, we like this Willie Green character. You know, a guy that has like a 30% win percentage. A guy that hasn't developed an all-star since Anthony Davis left. A guy that has allowed Zion Williamson to just keep being Zion Williamson, this vicious cycle of, oh, he looks like a monster. Oh, he looks like a monster, but made out of Popeye's biscuits. Like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, we're just gonna keep that guy. That's the guy we're gonna keep. And then you go get Joe Dumars, a guy who's already, like, he's just another dinosaur. A guy that is locked in of, well, you know, we need to run an NBA team like they did it in the 90s. I have news for you. It is not the 90s. And the first day on the job, yeah, we're keeping Willie Green. One of the worst coaches in the NBA. We're keeping Willie Green. So my point here, my thought here is Gail Benson is just a bad owner in general. She's just someone who doesn't get it in general. But then you pipe on this moral conundrum of the Catholic Church in New Orleans commits atrocities against children, and my owner wants to be their PR mouthpiece. My owner wants to protect them. My owner wants to use team assets of a team that I love. I have supported my entire life, quite literally. A team that I have always been proud to rep. Even here. When I got here, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm a broadcaster on the home of the Carolina Panthers. I never once stepped in here and said, "Oh, guys, I'm a Panthers fan." No, I'm not. I've been honest with you. I'm a Saints fan since birth. It's never going to change. Or at least I'm never going to be a fan of another team, I guess I should say. And I've got my owner who does what she does, did what she did. And right now, it is what it is. I partake in nothing Saints. I've bought no new gear. This is peak new gear season for me. I like the draft caps. I would have already purchased the draft cap at this point. They have rolled out some new polos. I would buy a new polo for golf season right now. I really need a white one. I don't have a white Saints polo. I need one. But I can't. I'm not spending $1. I'm not putting $1 into the pocket. Can't do it. What the hell am I going to do when football season rolls around? I have talked to some Saints fans. Some Saints fans that have said, look, what she did is gross. I do not support her. I will speak out against her. I will protest against her, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I cannot let that one person, even if she benefits from my fandom, I can't let her take away my love of something that I've loved for a long time, my whole life. I can't let her, one person, take that thing away from me. And then I've had other Saints fans who have gone, with everything that has gone on, with the constant poor decision-making, with the kick in the can down the road, allowing Mickey Loomis to keep his job, there's no point. So I'm out. I'm just not going to watch him this year. Like, I'll just be a generic NFL fan. I'm just a football guy. I'm just going to watch football. So I don't know how I'm going to feel when September gets here. I don't know how I'm going to feel when we are 2 weeks out from the NFL season and 39 and a half years of that being my most exciting time of the year because, hey, Saints football in 2 weeks. Told my wife when we met, we started dating. I'm like, just FYI, if this turns into a thing, because we met in the spring of 2020. Hey, if this turns into a thing, I just need you to know. Do not ever plan anything when there's a Saints game. It is the one team. The one team. You playing stuff while the birds are playing? Cool. All right. You want to plan a vacation when I love the Greenville Triumph. When the Triumph are playing, fine. I'll go out of town with you. I will make sacrifices with all the other teams so that you're aware. When the Saints are playing, don't make plans. And if we are on vacation when they're playing, we're watching them wherever we are. All right? That's not changing. That's how much I love this football team and always have. But, like, I'm having this moral conundrum with this whole thing. What she did is disgusting to me. What she did to help a bunch of, in my ever so humble opinion, criminals to manage their reputation, to try to get them as off the hook as they can get is disgusting. And I know that even if I'm not spending money directly, yeah, even if if I don't buy a dollar's worth of merch, if I just tune into the games on Sunday, she's getting paid from that. And I got a problem with that. On the flip side, do I let one person, even if it is the person who owns the team, take away from something that I have loved for 39 and a half years? I'm having a genuine struggle with that. It is a moral conundrum that I have not yet found an answer to. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little Panther draft strategy. Number 8, I have heard a lot of different takes. I have heard the Panthers could trade back, and not just trade back, but trade back multiple times. One of the people who said that is the guy who would actually make that trade, Dan Morgan. When we come back, I'll tell you what Dan Morgan said yesterday, and then we'll apply his logic to where the Panthers sit in the draft and see if it makes sense. I am Rob Brown, the Lonzo. The Lonzo.
The
Lonzo is on the ones and twos. Join the show, 844-326-3663. That's the Hub City Spartanburger text line. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
are dealing with chronic joint pain, doing things not as much fun, right? Well, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I got a soft spot for the Lions. I told you that.
Have already treated tens of thousands of patients around the country with
I like the Lions.
Our usual lineup a go today?
No Rashad.
Okay.
He is on vacation. But Lulu, yes. Mario, yes. And I'm going to vote, since I've 2 days in a row said bonus fight club and I haven't done it.
Why don't we do 2 days, Thursday and Friday?
We'll do fight club today and tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say we just do.
Day 1 today,
Okay.
day 2 tomorrow. It's wall-to-wall wrestling Saturday because NXT's on at 1. So I'll get my show prep done, watch NXT, go to work. And what I've been doing is telling Lisa to just watch at home when there's a thing going on, and then I just have it on my iPad.
Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools.
We already know what the main event's going to be on both nights.
Yeah. Well, obviously Jey Uso because he won the Royal Rumble, and you main event if you win the Royal Rumble.
All you got to do is call it a double main event. I mean, they do that a lot. They do that in not only in that, they do that in UFC.
Yeah.
They do it. I mean, you just call it a double main event.
You
Make
guys-
it next to last.
You want to see our new away screen I just made? Check this out.
Nice.
I love it. Although with the ticker, it cuts off the Rob Brown shit, so I need to change that. Okay, so we'll get rid of that and redo it. Delete that.
Never check. Can you move the ticker to the top?
No.
Be cool if they added that, or added to where it could go down the side.
I think the ticker on the top of a screen would drive me up a wall. I don't know if I'd ever get used to it. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Dan Morgan, the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, said yesterday, quote, I think we're definitely open to trading back and acquiring more picks. I think we're going to be open for all possibilities. Let's put it that way. Dan Morgan was asked after the announcement of Derek Carr's injury, which, of course, means there is incentive for the Saints to snag a quarterback early, as nobody but me apparently believes in Spencer Rattler. A team attempting to leapfrog New Orleans, because if the Saints stay at 9, there's options. First off, the question is, does Shedeur Sanders drop to 9? There are many an NFL draft expert who believe the answer is yes. I, for clarity's sake, am not one of them. I believe that Shedeur Sanders is off the board at the latest 3. I've already told you I got a couple of bets in on Shedeur Sanders draft spot selection. I've got him at 50-1 to get drafted to Cleveland at number 2, and then I got him at 5.5-1 to get drafted to the New York Giants at number 3. If he comes off the board at 2 or 3, Robbie B's getting some very nice bourbon the next day. But if he does not go at 2 or 3, then Shedeur falls to 9 unless somebody jumps up to go get him. And if somebody wants to go get him, there is, in my ever so humble opinion, only one team from spots 4 to 8 or 4 to 9 that you have to get in front of. And I do think that is New Orleans at number 9. Is there a possibility that somebody else could snag him? Probably not. New England is set with Drake May. Jacksonville is set with Trevor Lawrence. The Raiders at 6 are an interesting possibility, and Shador's made it no secret that he and Dion would be happy if he ended up there. But I would also tell you that, and this is just Rob Brown speculation. The noise out of Las Vegas is that they're all in on Ashton Jeanty, that they want a running back. They want to build around the run game. And so having an elite running back becomes their priority. And if you want to get an elite running back, you want to lock him up young, not as a free agent coming off a rookie contract, right? More often than not, you end up getting a guy off a rookie contract and you overpay with a few rare exceptions. So the Raiders all in on Ashton Jeanty, if that turns out to be true, means that the next picks are the New York Jets. They got Justin Fields, they're set. The Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young, they're set. So you have to, at the very least, get ahead of the Raiders. Here's what I think the play is for Carolina. If I'm Dan Morgan, here's how I'm playing this. I'm hanging out with Vegas. I'm watching Vegas. If the Las Vegas Raiders, if Shador drops, all of this is triggered by that. If Shador comes off the board, as I predict he's going to, at number 3 to the Giants, and I'll tell you what I told Horvat and Brad Evans on BetMGM tonight on Tuesday, because they actually asked me, what bets do you have in for the draft? And the answer was 2 on Shador. 50-1 to go to Cleveland at number 2, and 5.5-1 to go to New York at number 3. Horvat said, I got the same bets in. What's your reasoning? Here's my answer. My reasoning is this. Even though the Giants already have 2 quarterbacks in the locker room, think about the 2 quarterbacks they have there and think about how they fit in with Shador Sanders, or how Shador Sanders would fit in with them. What are the criticisms of Shador Sanders? There are 2 primarily. Number 1, he's an elite athlete with a good arm, but he's got to be sharpened. He's got to be polished. Who better to teach Shador Sanders fundamental NFL quarterbacking than Russell Wilson? That guy is a polished quarterback. Is he plastic? Is he cheesy? Absolutely. He's a big dork. But when it comes to getting under center, he's as polished of a fundamental quarterback as you're going to find. So you've got a guy to teach him that element of it. But then there's the other big criticism of Shador Sanders, which is what? His personality's too much. He's arrogant. He's cocky. He's too much personality. He's this, he's that. Well, who's the other guy the Giants have in the locker room? Jameis Winston. That dude is the definition of a quarterback that is all personality. To be honest with you, there is no reason, honestly, there is no reason with the number 3 overall draft pick for the New York Giants to have signed Jameis Winston. There's just none. If you got Russell Wilson in the bag, there is no reason for you to have gotten Jameis Winston. I don't think Jameis Winston is going to be Jameis Winston. Anytime he cocks the football back to throw it, you're either about to see something absolutely electrifying or one of the dumbest things you've ever seen done with a football. And there's rarely an in-between. Why would they bring in Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson? My answer is because they address the 2 big criticisms of Shador Sanders. That's why I think he's off the board at 3. But he's 5.5-1 to come off the board at 3. There's about 9 players that have shorter odds to be drafted to New York than Shador Sanders. So if New York passes on Shador, like the draft experts think that they will, he's not going to New England. He's not going to Jacksonville. Maybe he goes to Vegas. But right now, the common thought out of the Vegas media is they're going Ashton Jeanty. He's not going to the Jets. So Carolina's there at 8. If Shador Sanders is on the board at 9, he is going to New Orleans. I'll tell you that now. If Shador's on the board at 9, he is going to New Orleans. So what does that mean for Carolina at 8? It means their pick has a ton of bonus value to it. It means that their pick has a ton of bonus value to it. And now all of a sudden, depending on obviously where a team in the first round is that Carolina would be trading back to, now they can add some more to that. So maybe they would be looking back at teams in the draft that need a quarterback because there are, or maybe not need, but want a quarterback. I'm talking about teams like, I don't know, the Rams at 26 have been on the board for a very long time. I would say, and I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, but I would say that, I think Indy could be in the market. I mean, they do have Danny Dimes in Indy now, so maybe not. Trying to think off the who else are we saying needs a quarterback? Seattle? Tampa Bay, maybe? Maybe they want to get the guy to replace Baker down the line. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. I would say maybe there's not as many as I thought there was, Lonzo.
Pittsburgh, Minnesota. I know they say they're all
in I agree with Minnesota.
On JJ.
Yeah.
But
well, no, I don't. I take it back. I do think they are all in on JJ. I think they don't have a choice to be. If JJ doesn't work out for them, they're kind of in a spot.
I also think that that Aaron Rodgers is waiting until after the draft, and that he'll make his decision then.
Here's my thought. What's Aaron Rodgers' decision? He asked Minnesota. They straight up said no.
I think he goes to Pittsburgh. I think he's helping them by not signing, so people don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do.
I mean, are they paying him for that? Do you think there's going to be more on the con? Is he getting an overinflated contract to?
I'm just listen.
Wait, time out. Okay, fine.
This is fooling everybody. Smokescreen season,
right?
Hey, we're going to sign you.
Season.
But people may think we're trying to get a quarterback. We can use that to move back and get more picks and get you more weapons.
I mean, I guess I can see it. I honestly don't think Pittsburgh.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it can't.
I don't disagree with that, and I don't disagree with your logic about it. I don't see how Aaron Rodgers helps Pittsburgh. I just don't see how he helps them. But maybe that's just me. We'll come back to that because that is absolutely Aaron Rodgers.
If you believe Aaron Rodgers is a step above the two quarterbacks they had last year, if you do, then Aaron Rodgers can help them.
For the record, I don't.
And see, I do. He was recovering from injury last year, classically, whatever word you want to use.
For an entire season?
Most people, they don't truly come back from the Achilles injury until the second year back. And I know he's older, but they usually don't.
I mean, have at it, I guess. Have at a guy who's going to be 42 in season. Who I mean, for the record, because I do think, again, accountability and honesty are important in this job. Second half of the season for Rodgers was better than the first half. Last 5 games of the season for Rodgers were pretty good. Do have to point out, he was playing a bunch of teams that already knew that they were in or out of the playoffs at that point, but last 5 games were pretty good. I don't know about all that. What I do know is there are a few teams that are quarterback needy. Not a ton. Certainly not guys that are like quarterback needy enough that we have to have Shador at 8, right? I think there's a lot of guys that are quarterback needy that go, we'll gamble on a Jackson Dart in the second round, or we'll gamble on a late second round guy. We'll gamble on the second or third tier quarterbacks and hope we stumble into a guy. But if you are needy enough, and Pittsburgh might be, maybe the Rams. How long can you ride Matt Stafford? Maybe the Rams. I don't know. If there is a team that is quarterback needy and quarterback needy enough that they think Shador in the first round's the guy, Carolina's pick is worth its weight in gold because he's coming off the board at 9 if he's there. So if you want him, you have 2 options. Either you go ahead and you go to number 5, you go ahead and try to get ahead of the Raiders. You go ahead and try to jump up above the Raiders and risk that the Raiders were going to take him. Or You hang out until the Raiders make their selection. If the Raiders do not take Shedeur, you trade to Carolina spot at 8. That's the most valuable spot because I do not think that anybody else ahead of Carolina necessarily needs to go quarterback. It's either the Giants at 3, the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, the Raiders at 6, or the Saints at 9. That's Shedeur's. Those are the destinations. So I think if I'm Dan Morgan, the play is this. I got my list of edge rushers because it is a good edge rush class. I got my power ranks of edge rushers ready so that if nobody wants to move to 8 or if Shedeur comes off the board at 2, 3, or 6, I know who my guy's going to be when we get to 8. Carolina goes on the clock. They should not be on the clock for very long. You should have your power ranked edge rushers, and whoever is highest on that list that is available at 8, that's who you get. But I also have my hand on my cell phone. I have my hand on my cell phone, and I am putting out there as Dan Morgan did yesterday. I think this is why he did it. I think you go ahead and put out there that you're open for business at number 8. And you let every one of those panicky quarterback needy teams know. Highest bid, get Shedeur Sanders. Because that's what you're gambling on, right? Like that's what you're bidding on. Cam Ward is the number 1 pick. That is established. He's like minus 100,000 in Las Vegas. To win $1, you'd have to put $100,000 down on Shedeur Sanders. That's his odds right now. So if I am sitting there with the number 8 pick, I am calling every GM before the draft and saying, just so you know, if Shedeur Sanders is on the board at 8, highest offer gets him. Whoever makes us the best, and I'm not telling anybody else what anybody else's offer is. Highest offer gets him. And I'm trading back. If Shedeur comes off the board at 3 to New York or 6 to Las Vegas, then I've got my edge rusher power rankings, and I'm taking whichever one is the highest on my board at number 8. I would not trade back at that spot for anything other than Shedeur's availability. Because there's, to be honest, I don't know that unless something ridiculous happens, the only other player that might make it worth a trade back is if Ted McMillan or Matthew Golden fall to that spot. If either one of those 2 receivers, because they are clearly the 1 and 2 spots on the board, if either one of those receivers is available at 8, or if Shedeur Sanders is available at 8, I'm taking the call, and the highest bidder gets my spot at 8, and I'll move back. Because I do think with both of those positions, quarterback and wide receiver, I do think there will be enough teams desperate that you can talk somebody into making that move. All right, coming up on the show, next hour, we got the water cooler cheat sheet. Spencer Strider makes his return for the Atlanta Braves yesterday. They lose anyway. We'll talk about that. We'll talk some more NFL draft, NBA play-in, and Zoe and I going to do a promo off later in the show because it's WrestleMania week. Why not celebrate? We're going to ask you to give us each 2 topics, and we're going to cut our best pro wrestling promo on them. They can be sports, they can be life, whatever. We're going to cut our best promo. 1 face and 1 heel for each, and we'll see how it goes. All of that comes after. Ladies and gentlemen, the John Cena of sports flashes, the great one, Lonzo.
Always doing what's best for business. The Dallas Mavericks will play again Friday with hopes to enter the NBA playoffs after a 120-106 win over Sacramento last night. Anthony Davis scored 27 with 9 boards, and Klay Thompson added 23, including going 5 of 7 from behind the arc. Dallas will play Memphis Friday in an elimination game. Miami will face Atlanta Friday in an elimination game after beating Chicago last night 109-90. The Heat were led by Tyler Hero's 38 points on 13 of 19 from the field, and Andrew Wiggins 20 points. Spencer Strider's return to the mound for Atlanta gave some cause for optimism as the Braves pitcher went 5 strong innings, surrendering 5 hits and 2 runs while striking out 5. However, he was tagged with the loss as Toronto took their second of a 3-game series 3-1. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show and the water cooler cheat sheet is up next, right here on the Fan Upstate.
Spartanburg County, eastbound 26 near mile markers 7 and 8 over Lake Bowen has the right lane closed. Expect delays. From the News Talk 98.9 WRESTLEMANIA Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan, Upstate.
This is the story of the woman who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention, which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Granger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know that it's in hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone, come back. It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life, come back.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years, guaranteed, on my plan and my home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on my plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show, it's BetMGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan.
Upstate.
BetMGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time, relevant sports wagertainment tonight at 7. BetMGM Tonight, exclusively on the Fan.
Upstate.
And on the Odyssey app. Wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Turn on, leave on.
The bottom line is college athletics were not designed for players to make $45,000 a month. You can disagree all you want. College sports was student first, athlete second. Nobody, I don't care how good they are, Diesel, nobody should make $45,000 a month at the college level. And the truth is, Cole, this is unfixable. It's unfixable. Number one, it's activists like Rob Brown, and I'm calling him out. He wanted this. He wanted it. Well, what about the players? Coaches can go get whatever they want. Coaches can get paid a tremendous amount of money. Coaches can leave when they want to. Why can't players do it? Well, now they're holding their teams hostage. They're demanding. It's not even the money thing. Yeah, it's the principle of it.
Wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson.
Turn on, leave on. Afternoons 3 to 7 on the Fan. Upstate. It's the Rich Eisen Show.
The salary cap in the NFL is going up and going up by a lot. Now, a lot of folks may wonder, what does that mean for you and your team? Guess what? If it was $255 million last year, and it was, and it can go maybe up to $281 million this year, what that means is if you're going to start scrimping on a running back, you are a complete moron.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon on the Fan. Upstate 97.7 FM, Greenville 97.1 FM, Spartanburg, and everywhere on the Odyssey app. Your morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
And I looked at myself with the arms with the chicken wings hanging out of the jersey. I was like, oh, I gotta lift some weights.
Did you know you can multitask? You could be working out while on the air. All you need is to purchase a shake weight. I'm sure everyone wants to see you tone with the shake weight while talking.
You and I both know what the people on the stream do with that.
Don't hit snooze. The Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
The Fan Upstate.
The Fan.
Upstate.
WYRD Greenville.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBCHD Greenville.
W249DL Greenville.
W246CB Spartanburg.
Upstate.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
And check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents me a win. Yeah.
Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
before you go, hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Exceptional to have you here on the show this lovely Thursday morning. We have got a gazillion things to keep talking about. It is WrestleMania week. Let you know that we are going to, we're in honor of WrestleMania. We're going to do Fight Club today at 9:20, like we usually do on Thursdays. Lulu Kesin at 8 o'clock to talk South Carolina Gamecocks. No Rashad Beard this week. He is on vacation with his children. And, I said, hey, man, take your time. Absolutely. Yeah, I will allow you this once to make your kids a priority over the show. No problem. This one time, don't get carried away. All right.
What's that? Is it magnanimous? Is that the word? I'm trying to think of what you have done by allowing this to happen.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is this doesn't set a trend where guests start saying, okay, I was going to say where guests start saying, I just realized, I think Rashad's the only consistent guests we have that have kids. I don't know if John has kids, actually. I don't know if John Blau has kids. He hasn't taken a vacation off yet and said, hey, Rob, my kids are more important than you, which is a little disrespectful, but I'll let it slide for now.
I kind of want to be one of Rashad's kids because they go on vacation a lot.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they go good places too.
Well, listen, we just got to start us a podcast that gets a few 100,000 followers, and we'll be right there in the game, I'm sure. No Rashad Beard today. He'll be back next week. Of course, next Thursday, day 1 of the National Football League draft. We'll get his thoughts on Dan Morgan's comments and more when he rejoins the show next week. We do have Lulu Kesin at 8. We do have Hatin Ass Mario at 9 and Fight Club at 9:20. But as it is WrestleMania week, we'll do a bonus Fight Club tomorrow. 2 nights of WrestleMania, 2 days of Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. And I'll keep it a buck with you. There's a very good chance there'll be some more wrestling segments sprinkled in there over the next couple of days as we get set for the biggest weekend in professional wrestling. So we got that coming up for you later on in the show. Also, coming up later in the 8 o'clock hour, Lonzo and I were going to, and I didn't prepare him for this, mainly because I didn't decide this until the last segment.
No, I was just, getting ready to do Sports Flash going, okay.
Yeah, but so this is an idea I've kicked around for a very long time, and we'll see how it goes. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, I'm going to ask y'all, the Armada, to submit via the Hub City Spartanburger text line at 844-326-3663. I am going to ask y'all to submit some random topics, just random topics off the top of your noggins. And Lonzo and I are going to pick 2 of them. And we are going to cut promos on them, WWE style.
So we're just going to pick, or we're going to pick for each other?
We're going to pick for each other.
Okay.
We're going to say, text us in a topic for Lonzo to cut on, and I am going to pick one for you. And then you will pick one for me, and we will cut both a face promo and a heel promo, regardless of the topic. A face promo and a heel promo on the spot, impromptu, because that's how you get over. You got to go out there. You get one shot to get yourself over. We're going to cut our best promos.
Are we going to separate them, or is there going to be a turn in the promo?
I don't know. Maybe we should have a heel to face or a face to heel turn. You get to pick. Do you want to go heel to face, or do you want to go face to heel? I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I'm going to be honest with you.
Face to heel is easier, but still.
I made this decision about 7 seconds before I said on the air we were going to do it. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and we've never come around to it. What better time than today?
I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that.
I'm excited. It's going to be good. All right. We got a lot more stuff we need to get to, but it is 7:05 in the morning. You have less than 55 minutes until you've got to get your happy little behind into the office. You got to respond to the boss's emails. The one that you didn't do yesterday because you didn't care at all. Yeah, well, you got to knock those out this morning. Take about 11 minutes. And then it's time to stand up, walk down the hallway, head on down to the break room, and get yourself into your beloved conversation with Jimmy from Accounts Receivable to talk some sports. And if you're going to talk sports, you got to know what's going on in the world of sports. And if you've got to know what's going on in the world of sports, ladies and gentlemen, I've got great news for you. We do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
I'm not going to play with it anymore.
Yes, stop it.
before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, so if you don't want to do it, you can just say that, you know? You just say, I don't want to do the face-off.
I'll do
the heel and face-off.
I'll do whatever. I mean, look at the light bulb go off on your head. I saw it.
Big brain, galaxy brain over here. Water cooler cheat sheet, top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports. This lovely Thursday morning, when you do this, is what you'll be talking about. Let's dive in head first to item numero uno. The NBA's play-in tournament continued last night. 2 teams eliminated, 2 teams moving on. The Chicago Bulls have their season come to an end on the wrong side of a 109-90 victory by the Miami Heat, in which Tyler was the hero. 38 points on 13 of 19 shooting, 3 of 7 from range, 9 of 10 from the stripe. Also chipped in 5 boards and 4 assists. You got 20 out of Andrew Wiggins, 8 of 20 from the floor, 4 of 9 from 3, however, did have 9 boards in the winning effort as well. Miami shot just a tick under 50%. They held Chicago to just a tick under 40%, and that's all you need to know. Miami also shot 37% from 3, held Chicago to 27% from 3. They went 10 of 37 last night. When it was all said and done, 72 3-pointers efforted in this game. They made a combined 23 of them in the effort, did the Heat and the Bulls. The Heat will move on. In the other game, the Dallas Mavericks, yes, ladies and gentlemen, them Dallas Mavericks win 120-106 over the Sacramento Kings, ending the reign of the lit beacon. Anthony Davis had 27. Klay Thompson was back in rare air last night. 23 points for Klay on 8 of 11 from the floor and 5 of 7 from range last night. AD also had 5 boards, a steal, and a assist in a winning effort. Dallas also, like Miami, shot 49% from the floor. Sacramento did shoot 46% and 39% from 3. However, Dallas shot 50% from behind the arc, 14 of 28 when it was all said and done. It was also a bit of a turnover fest for Sacramento. They had 18 unforced errors last night that ended up doing them in. So the play-in tournament will conclude on Friday. Over in the East, the Miami Heat are at the Atlanta Hawks. Miami enters this game as a 1.5-point favorite. That game will be on at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And then we will have Memphis at home hosting the Dallas Mavericks, the Grizz, 6.5-point favorites over the Mavs. The winner of those 2 games will be locked into the playoffs. The NBA playoffs do start on Saturday. Milwaukee at Indiana at 1 o'clock. The Clippers at the Nuggets at 3:30. Detroit at the Knicks at 6 p.m. and at 8:30. Minnesota is at LA. Round 1 continues on Sunday, when the winner of the Western Conference side of the play-in game, Dallas and Memphis, takes on Oklahoma City, or at 1 o'clock, 3:30, Orlando's at Boston. 7 p.m. on Sunday, the winner of the East between between Miami and Atlanta will move on to take on Cleveland at 7 p.m. Golden State is at Houston in round 1 at 9:30 on Sunday. There's where we stand in the NBA. Let's get to item number 2. Spencer Strider made his return for the Atlanta Braves last night and did not have a bad outing. Exactly what I said was going to happen happened. Spencer Strider gave you a good outing. 5 full innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned, struck out 5. But Atlanta loses anyway. 3-1 to the Toronto Blue Jays. The Jays win the series 2-1 over Atlanta. It drops the Bravos to 5-13 on the season. Atlanta managed just 5 hits. Eli White had 2 of them. Orlando Arcia added 1 in the 9-hole. Baldwin had 1, and Matt Olson had 1. Everybody else stank. 1 combined hit between your top 4 hitters. Michael Harris the second, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, and Sean Murphy combined for 1 hit. Do we need to keep addressing this? Like I'm kind of at the point where I feel like I don't really need to do a Brave segment anymore. A Brave segment, a Brave score on the only reason this is a water cooler cheat sheet item is because Spencer Strider came back. That's it. First start since April 5th of last year. Strider came back, looked good, reached his 500th career strikeout last night, had good movement on his breaking ball, had good heat on the heater. Spencer Strider looked good yesterday, and yet was tagged with the L. This is what I said. Stop telling me, oh, it's going to be fine, Rob. You still got Spencer Strider coming back. He participates in 1 out of every 5 games, and he could come out and give up 2 runs every start, which would be incredible, and still not win a game because the Braves can't hit the ball. It's no deeper. This is surface level issues. Can't hit the baseball, you stink. That's it. That's the Braves. Braves fall 3-1, lose the series 2-1 to Toronto.
You know what I don't get about this is because
my blood pressure.
No, well, yeah,
why I still care.
That's part of it. The other thing is they usually have like mid-season or a third of the way through the season a spell where they do this. Maybe they're just getting out of the way in the beginning, and then it's smooth sailing the rest of the way.
Yeah, if that was a conscious decision, cool. The problem is, no, they just stink. I mean, this isn't like hey guys, go out there and throttle. You're 5-13. You're dead last in the NL East. Everybody else is outpacing you. The Giants are 12-5. The Padres are 14-4. You are 9 games back of division leaders. We've been playing baseball for 2 weeks. You're 9 games back. We've been playing 2 weeks. Nope. They just stink. That's all there is to it. This is the biggest waste of collective talent in Major League Baseball. The only difference between them and the Mets from last year is that the Mets paid $1 billion. I guess the good news is Juan Soto stinks this year. So, I mean, I guess it's just a topsy-turvy year in Major League Baseball. Item number 3. The college football spring transfer portal window opened yesterday. There are still a bunch more days. It does not close until April 25th. Here is what we know. What we know is that roughly 700 FBS players and 400 FCS players entered their name into the portal yesterday. We also know that Nico Iamaleava entered his name officially into the portal, and apparently already has negotiations going on with the University of California, Los Angeles. The Bruins appear to be the likely destination. Reports coming out yesterday that as soon as Nico's name hit the portal, the conversations started immediately with UCLA. Remember, Nico put his name in the portal and did so with a do not contact tag on it, meaning schools could not just reach out to Nico and go, hey, big dog, we saw you in the portal. Do you want to come visit? You want to come check out city name here? And apparently that was because Nico was already having a conversation with Cody Decker's UCLA Bruins.
Wasn't that the original team that he supposedly
they were, if I recall, either the second or the thirdest shortest odds. Second or third shortest odds on the board of potential landing spots for Nico Iamaleava.
Thirdest is that's a new one.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that. Some of the other things that are happening, though. We mentioned yesterday, West Virginia had 22 players enter the portal, and there were thoughts that at least 2 to 3 more might follow them. North Carolina had 11 scholarship players enter the portal so far, including their QB1 of next year, or at least the guy they thought there was going to be, Ryan Brown. Went in, Bill Belichick trying to bolster the roster for year number 1. Bo Atkinson, their star defensive prize, also went into the portal yesterday. We had some re-enters. Wisconsin tight end Tanner Koziel entered the transfer portal, joined the Badgers this offseason, right back into the portal. Did not even go through the full offseason with Wisconsin after he came over from Ball State. Was there, worked out, did the spring thing, jumped out again. There were a handful of others, including some Clemson and South Carolina guys that went into the portal. We'll give you some more of the biggest names that have gone in and out later on in the show. But that's your water cooler cheat sheet. There are the 3 things you'll be talking about when you get to work this AM. You got any thoughts on any of those? The Hub City Spartanburger text line is open for you at 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. You can text that number. You can call that number. Jump on board. Let's talk sports on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, give me just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. Rob Brown Show back on your radio, the fan upstate. We talked some NFL draft this morning. We'll circle back around to that later on in the show. Want to get to some National Basketball Association. I don't do these kinds of segments very often. I have been watching the NBA play-in tournament, but I noticed something last night when I was sitting at home, and I will acknowledge that a good chunk of the reason is because the lady friend is down in West Palm Beach on a work conference. And so I've had the casa to myself the last couple of nights to just be that guy. And I've been doing a fantastic job of just being that guy. So I've had a lot of bonus sports watching time the last few days without the lady friend there. Not that she stops me from watching the sports, but I stop myself because I want to hang out with my wife. I'm just that guy, all right? So I've been watching. And as I was watching last night and scrolling the internet, because doom scrolling is a hobby of mine, I realized nobody was talking about it. Like, when it became obvious that Tyler Hero was popping off, when it became obvious that Tyler Hero was having himself a night, I started seeing that come up in conversation. I started seeing people talking about Tyler Hero. I saw Paul Pierce put together his all-white guy team of 2025, and Tyler Hero was on it, et cetera, et cetera. It was just kind of offshoot conversation. And I kind of asked myself the question, is this thing relevant? I want it to be. I feel like the NBA is doing everything the NBA can do in order to generate more interest in the effectively first round of the NBA playoffs. And there were spots that I think are important. I thought Golden State's performance made them absolutely an upset qualifier for me in round one. And honestly, I'll probably put a little change down on the upset, although Golden State is like even money to win that series. So I'm not alone in that thought. But outside of that, the NBA play-in tournament didn't even register. And last night, certainly, it should have, because there wasn't really anything else going on. I mean, there was baseball. There was Major League and college baseball happening around the country yesterday. But outside of baseball, there wasn't really a lot going on last night. The NBA should have owned last night. And I have a question, which is, A, the NBA play-in tournament isn't getting attention because it's just not that compelling. Or B, the drama around, up to, and after the trade deadline kind of got everybody's blood pulsing so much that the play-in tournament, being just basketball, being played by teams that I don't think many people consider to be legitimate championship contenders, kind of just doesn't register. We were talking about something unrelated earlier in the show, or earlier in the week, I should say, and I brought up the fact that if you want us to watch sports, you have to either be very likable or you have to win. There can't be anything else. Those are the two things that get us to turn on an event or a game or a match or whatever. You either have to be likable, you have to have Riz, baby,
Riz,
or you just got to be dominant. Of the teams that have played in the play-in tournament so far, there are no dominant teams. None of them look like they are ready to go toe-to-toe with Cleveland, with Boston, with the Lakers, with the Thunder.
There's only one team that I think anyone would pick to do anything, and unfortunately, it's Golden State. I mean, everybody else you think is probably going to be out in the first round.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, Golden State's performance made them look like, with Jimmy Butler, with playoff Jimmy, who I told you to be on the lookout for, playoff Jimmy showed up. Golden State looks like they could be a threat. Outside of that, nobody in the play-in tournament really feels like a threat. Anybody going to take $1 out on the Heat? Probably not.
I mean, they looked good yesterday. But
they looked fine, but you're not getting 40 out of
Yeah.
Tyler Hero more often than like once a series tops. And I like Tyler Hero, so that we're clear. I like Tyler Hero.
I don't like the haircut, but yeah.
It's not a get a fade, Tyler. Tyler looks like he got the my mom didn't want to take me to the barbershop, but it's school picture day buzz cut. He got the there's one setting on these clippers buzz cut. So I carved in the line and just went uniform everywhere else. You're not getting 38 out of Tyler Hero consistently. You'll get every now and then, but that's it. I'm to the point now. I have said for a very long time, more games are better, right? It pops up every year at the end of the college football season when it's bowl season and people start their annual "there's too many bowl games" segments. My response has always been, well, then don't watch them, but shut up, because more football is better, even if the games are meaningless, and they are. More football is better. I've always been a more sports are better guy, but I don't know if that's true with the NBA playoffs. I don't know that as many teams that get in, if it wouldn't be a better idea for the NBA to take like 5 days off and then start the playoffs. Make us wait a little bit. Build the anxiety. Build the anticipation. Give us 4 or 5 days to reset and then just start the playoffs. Because I'd be willing to take out a bet that 0 of the play-in teams are going to be, hell, even conference finals attendees. And the only risk I feel like I'm taking there is maybe Golden State makes a run. Maybe Steph gets hot. Maybe Steph and playoff Jimmy really are the Batman and Robin. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, but after the game the other day, Jimmy Butler referred to himself as Robin like 5 times in the post-game press conference. He was very clearly trying to get the Batman and Robin thing over for him and Steph, making Steph Batman and himself Robin. Steph comes up to the mic, and one of the reporter bros is like, hey, man, Jimmy Butler referred to you as Batman like 9 times earlier. Are you guys really feeling this Batman and Robin vibe? And Steph was like, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. No. That stings a little bit. That's the old, yeah, that guy's my best friend. And the guy's like, yeah, we're close.
So your boy Binky not a fan of Batman, apparently. That's un-American.
Let the haterade flow through you, Lonzo.
Certified hater mode.
The haters.
Come on.
They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots.
Who could be the biggest hater and say the dumbest stuff?
So you didn't hear that. You didn't. I bet he was smug when he said it. That's the first I've heard of that.
They like to drink their haterade and eat their hater tots.
Who could be the biggest hater and say the dumbest stuff?
The haters.
Certified hater mode.
Thank you for multiple times pointing out the obvious.
So Jimmy B tried to get the Batman and Robin thing over, and Steph no-sold it like crazy. Incredible. Anyway, no, I do not think the Dallas Mavericks are making a run. I do not think the Sacramento Kings at 500. Last year, I thought they were behind De'Aaron Fox, but obviously they blew up their whole franchise too.
I forgot Dallas had Klay Thompson.
Because last night was the first time Klay Thompson's looked like Klay Thompson since he got to Dallas.
He's got a ton of playoff experience, which can help the other guys on the team. But AD would be hurt by tomorrow, probably.
He
had a really good game. You know, when you have a really good game and you're Anthony Davis, you're due for an injury or at least a couple really, really off games.
Oh, it's coming. You know it's coming.
And they can't afford that. So, I mean.
So we'll find out. So.
Did you want them to lose? Because I heard.
Dallas?
I heard a lot of people saying that they wanted them to lose because the Luka trade was so bad.
I'm going to keep it a buck. No, I don't have, just so we're clear, I don't have any ill will towards Dallas. It's just Dallas ownership. And by the way, I don't have, this is going to sound weird, stick with me. I don't have any ill will towards Nico Harrison either. Honestly, because I don't think it was Nico's call to move on from Luka. I think Nico is having to do what a lot of people in his role have to do, which is effectively take the heat. You know, I've said for years, Roger Goodell's job is not to commission the NFL. That's not his job. Roger Goodell's job is not to be a leader of the NFL at all. Roger Goodell's job is to enact and enforce the decision of the 32 owners. And when we hate their decisions, to be the shield between them and the fan base. That's Goodell's job. His job is to be hated. That's his job. Deflect. I'm at the point now where I believe that the move from Luka was an ownership decision and a shot at the city of Dallas and its leadership. And here's why. Did you hear about the Nico closed doors press conference that he did?
I heard about it. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
Well, you didn't watch it because no cameras were allowed.
Okay, that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Nico held a presser with the media. And they brought in the media, and the media got told, no cameras, no microphones. I will answer your questions, but you will not record the answers in any way, shape, or form. You'll just have to store. Couldn't even bring a tape recorder. You will have to write them down and store them in the old noodle and then get them right, because if you don't, we'll come after you. And the media then had to effectively negotiate with Nico about what they would and would not report on after the meeting in order just to push record on a tape recorder and have his voice, right? It's wild. That is what you do when you really don't want something to get too juicy. I believe the ownership wanted him out. So I'm not mad at Nico. I'm not mad at Dallas. You know why? Because I'm not mad at Klay Thompson. I'm not mad at Anthony Davis. I got no issue with Anthony Davis. I got no issue with any of the guys on the team. I'm not anti-Dallas. I just don't think they have a shot in Hades at doing anything once the playoffs start. If they make it, they still got to win one more game. These play-ins, I want the NBA to be great. I love basketball. I love pro basketball. Judge me. I want them to be great. But last night, they were not even on the national conversation. They were not trending. They were not being discussed. Nobody cared. And I don't think anybody will until we get to the conference finals. And to me, that's a bigger problem for the NBA. If you've got a spot where nobody cares until you get to your conference finals, it means that you have a league that is wildly top heavy and you just haven't worked on making parity a priority. And I think that's a problem. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. There it is. I knew I had another haters clip somewhere to go to. Give me a second, guys. Got to record something right back.
Wonderful.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the fan upstate. Rob Brown, Lonzo, and you. Be a part of the show. 844-326-3663 is the number. All right. What can we what can we say about these Atlanta Braves? They're just bad. That's all there is to it. I'm gonna get Abe Gordon on the show tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out. I was gonna give Abe one more week because he told me, Rob Brown, give him 21, give him 22 games to turn it around. Abe said, you gotta hold the belief there's too much talent on this roster. And for the record,
do they play tonight?
They do play. No, excuse me. I believe they are. I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I tuned out when that game was over yesterday. I was out immediately. Like, just stopped. That game was at 1:00 in the afternoon, and I was immediately out. I was just like, I can't. No, they are off today. They will start another series. I think Saturday they've got the Twins is their next game. Tomorrow they've got the Twins for a 3-game set. Which I'm gonna go ahead and call it what it is now. If the Braves end up losing a series to the Twins, if the Braves can't knock off the Twins, who are 7-12, if they can't win that, I'm talking win the series outright. If they can't win the series outright, I won't be watching anymore. I can't emotionally invest in this baseball team. They're just not good. And we had the moment yesterday that broke me. I'll tell you what the moment was that broke me yesterday. The moment that broke me yesterday was about the late 5th inning. Strider's out there, and he had 5 Ks. Realistically, he probably should have had 7 or 8. Yesterday was a day that I can't wait for the umpire auditor to drop the performance, because the strike zone in play yesterday was all over the place. I watched in one at bat in the 4th inning. I watched one at bat, Spencer Strider throw the same pitch, a breaking ball down and away, twice. Same spot. Same spot. They do the little K zone on the screen. Same spot. Cross the dish at the same spot twice. One pitch, it's a strike. Very next pitch, it's a ball. Same pitch. Same location, same speed, everything. Once it's a strike, once it's a ball. I don't understand how that works out. But at the same time, when I got a guy behind the plate with a wonky strike zone that's killing the pitcher, when I got a winnable ball game in the 7th inning and they go to Snicker again, and I'm struggling with this just like I am with the Mickey Loomis thing, right? Because on one hand, Mickey Loomis is the only reason that I've ever got to experience the New Orleans Saints winning a Super Bowl. On the other hand, that was 2009, and we haven't done a damn thing since then. They put the camera on the Braves dugout, and they go to Snicker, who won a a World Series 4 years ago. One of the greatest nights of my life. The Braves won the 2021 World Series. I imbibed heavily that evening. It was a wonderful, wonderful period. They go to Snit, and Snit is sitting on the edge of his bench, down at the end of the dugout, away from everybody else, and he's got his little folded up piece of paper that he's not looking at, and he's sitting on the bench like this, slumped backwards, in his dumb little uniform, arms crossed, blank stare, looking out towards the diamond. Now, I understand that everybody is going to show emotion differently. The emotion you show when you are frustrated is different than the emotion that I will show when I am frustrated, is different than the emotion that Zoe will show when he is frustrated. We all show it different ways. But gosh darn it, you know what? I'd really like to see the head coach, the manager of the ball club, show me anything. Just anything. They show Snit at the end of the bench. And if it wasn't for his eyes being kind of open, I would honestly be convinced Brian Snicker was just taking a nappy nap. I'd be convinced Brian Snicker was just resting and relaxing, just enjoying a day out in the sunshine at the ballpark. I'm not saying I need Snit running around out there, screaming and yelling and getting ejected from games, because I've said a million times, like, umps and managers arguing, a lot of people find it entertaining. I don't. Never once says an umpire changed his mind. And the whole concept, the whole premise I get told from people say they like it is, oh, that's the manager going to bat, pardon the expression, for his guys. It gets the boys fired up. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not a baseball player professionally. I don't know. Here's what I do know. When our team stinks, is 5-13, can't hit a baseball, can't get a call, and they go to the edge of the bench, and I got Snicker leaned back in his dumb jersey with his arms crossed, looking like he's 85% of the way to a nap.
So I don't
Not the guy.
I don't understand this, because if he were going nuts and jumping around and everything, they still would be losing. What does it matter what his mannerisms are?
Do something. Do something. Do anything.
As far as I'm concerned, my coach or whoever's in charge or whatever, they can be stone-faced the entire time, as long as they're making the right calls and the right people in the right positions and everything. That's what I'm saying.
We're saying the same thing then.
What do you want to see out of it? It's not going to make a difference if what's out on the diamond doesn't change.
Change the lineups, change the rotations, change the position, anything. How many times do I have to turn on this baseball team to watch the same lineup, do absolutely nothing, to watch the same handling of the pitching staff? You're not changing your catchers to see if maybe they can build some more chemistry. You've made no changes to your middle relief, which has been not kryptonite. Whatever's more dangerous than that. I got guys batting in the one spot that are 0 for 18 in their last handful of times up. I got Austin Riley doing nothing. You're not jumping him down in the lineup. I mean, that's not true. Riley's got like 3 dingers in the last 3 games. Move him to the 4 spot. Drop Olsen. Do something. You're at a spot now where there is nothing. So, you're right. If you come out the next day and they go, all right, we've shifted the lineup around a little bit. We're moving Austin Riley to the leadoff spot because he's the only guy hitting the ball. We're dropping Matt Olson from 4 down to 6 because there's no need to have him in the cleanup spot. Whatever. Just if there's anything happening. But this team is 4-13. And I'm watching them do nothing with the players in the field, nothing with the middle relief, not changing the lineup, not adjusting or tinkering. They're trotting out the same lineup to do the same thing day after day after day. And then when they show my manager in the dugout, my guy looks like he's like 2 Ambiens and a bourbon deep in his day.
So 2 weeks from now, they make no changes, but they've doubled their wins, and suddenly they look like everything's working. Are you going to say you were wrong?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. But right now, I bet you a paycheck that ain't happening. We are now we are 18 games deep in the Major League Baseball season. This team has 1 more win than the White Sox. I just want to put it on the record.
So they played like 1/45th of their amount of games or something. I mean,
you're right. Go 5-13. Let's change nothing. Let's just hope. Let's just hope.
So they haven't been close at all?
No, they're 5-13.
No. You're missing my point. And in the games, they're just getting completely destroyed and blown out every single game.
They are 5-13. Does it matter if you lose by a run or 9 if you're 5-13? Does it matter? You're 5-13.
So you're saying wins and losses are all that matters.
There are 2 teams. By God, if you are talking about a season at the end of the year, there is one number that matters. Here's the difference, because I know what you're doing.
You're doing it. It's not me. I'm just trying for consistency here.
Okay. I'll play your game, Puzzle Master. I'll play your game. When the Carolina Panthers start their season this year, what are the expectations? What's your expectations for Carolina this year?
To go 500 or one game over 500 and win the South, because that's all you need is one game over 500 to win the South.
Great.
Not a joke, by the way.
Great. So not 9-8. Fair goal. I think it's probably, I don't know, say it's a ceiling, but it's probably close to it. That's fair goal. You know what the Braves' expectations were coming into this year? Win the National League, go to the World Series. There's a difference.
They played the equivalent of one game in football.
They have played 13 baseball games.
Right.
Or 18 baseball games. They're 5-13.
Which is the equivalent of one game.
Correct. But they are setting a pace that is untenable to keep up. If you come out and you lose 3 football games to start the NFL season, you go, season's not over. But you know what else you have to do? You have to look at, historically speaking, what 0-3 teams do. And you know what 0-3 teams in the National Football League do? Nothing. There are no Super Bowl champs that started 0-3.
It's not the equivalent of 0-3. It's the equivalent of 0-1.
Correct.
And maybe not even 1. It's like a half.
The situation...
Football games mean more because there are less of them. There are so many baseball games. They have plenty of time to turn things around.
Only if the other teams have a run where they go 5-13.
Which absolutely could happen.
No, the Dodgers will not go 5-13 and 8 point this year. The Phillies will not go 5-13. I will give you right now, straight up a lunch bet for the end of the year. A nice lunch bet. A Ruth's Chris to your McDonald's. You put a McDonald's on the line, I'll put Ruth's Chris. Right now.
I've been to Ruth's Chris a lot. I just don't.
Pick any restaurant you want in Greenville.
Okay.
I'm dead serious right now.
Fancy ones down.
Anyone you want. Pick any restaurant.
That would
Greenville.
mean that I'd have to pay attention to baseball a little bit closer.
I'll keep it a buck with you. I will judge this for you. I will wager you right now that, and I'll give you 2 teams. I'll double your chance. I will bet you a lunch at any restaurant you want in this city versus you just got to take me to McDonald's for lunch one day. Okay. That's how I'm giving you like plus 1,700 odds here. That at the end of this season, there will be no 18-game stretch for the Dodgers. Here, let's go division leaders in the National League. Hang on, let me finish my terms.
You're picking the front runners. Okay.
They're the only ones who matter. They're the playoff teams. I don't give a damn if Colorado goes 0-18.
Well,
the Braves are not expecting to be better than the last place team.
So there's only 2 teams in the MLB playoffs?
There are 2 teams in the National League that to me are the front runners for the.
You missed my point. There are wild card games, so there are more than 2 teams that make the playoffs.
No wild card team wins the World Series. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
You're saying it's never happened.
I'm saying that if it, I don't know I can't call them off the top of my head. Here's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to go, oh, Rob, they played 18 games. They played 1/9 of the season. Right. But do you understand that if they played 1/9 of the season, that somebody else in the National League has to also have this 1/9 of a season for you to tie them? You understand? They have to have the Phillies and the Mets. Hell, they're 3 games back of the Marlins right now. That means they have to have the 2 teams in contention for the NL East, the Mets and the Phillies. That means they have to have both of those teams also have an 18-game stretch where they win 5 games. I will make a bet, your restaurant of choice versus just take me to McDonald's, that there will be no 18-game series where the Mets or the Phillies win 5 games or fewer.
I'm looking at the records. You are exaggerating so much.
What am I exaggerating about?
The Nationals are 7-11. They'll catch them in no time.
Irrelevant.
Marlins are 8-9.
Irrelevant. Lonzo, let me ask you a question. Stop.
Jeez.
Let me ask you a question. If next year the Chiefs come out and they go 0-4 to start the season, and I go, calm down, you've played 20% of the season, you will catch the Titans, you would go, bleep you, Rob Brown.
First of all, 2 things. One, would never say that to you. Second of all, I don't get hyped like you do. I'm not gonna get my blood pressure way up. I'm not gonna get it. Does it bother me when my team does bad? Yes. But I also know that they have the rest. They went through a stretch where they were horrible, the Chiefs did, and then they came back and went to the Super Bowl. They lost, but they came back and went.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a couple seasons where they didn't do well. They started off bad. Oh, this is it. It's over. It's completely over. Patrick Mahomes has lost it. Then they've come back and they've done well. Dude, they haven't even played 20 games yet. You need to calm down.
Give me one thing. Give me one thing to lean on. Just give me one thing. Give me one thing positive right now. One. Exactly. There is nothing. The hitters aren't hitting the pitchers. You have Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back. But that's been the case all the time.
They haven't scored any runs, and they haven't had any good pitching at all.
They had good pitching yesterday.
Okay, right. You said one good thing. So they have good pitching.
Yeah. What happened?
They got to pull it all together.
They have good pitching and nothing else. There's nothing else to pull on.
And I think people would agree with me, other than the fact that we're late for break, is baseball's bad for you. It's not good for you. You're the most emotional about baseball, more so than anything else. It's baseball. Baseball's not good for your health, and maybe you need to curb it back a little bit and wean yourself off of baseball.
As I heard, my former colleague.
It's going to be hard to do while you're doing a baseball show on Saturday.
Correct.
But,
I heard my former colleague and friend Brandon Walker say on his show yesterday, if you don't get passionate and upset about sports, why are you here? If you don't get passionate and upset about sports, why are you here?
I'm passionate and upset on the fact that we're late for break. Can we move on?
Yeah, stop trying to be optimistic about the Braves, and then I'll be done.
I'm optimistic about life. I'm sorry you're not.
Talk about the Braves in the sports flash. Let everybody hear it.
No, I'm skipping that. You've talked about that for the entire segment. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks will play again Friday with hopes to enter the NBA playoffs after a 120-106 win over Sacramento last night. Anthony Davis scored 27 with 9 boards, and Klay Thompson added 23, including going 5 of 7 from behind the arc. Dallas will play Memphis Friday in an elimination game. Miami will face Atlanta Friday. After beating Chicago last night 109-90, the Heat were led by Tyler Hero's 38 points on 13-19 from the field, and Andrew Wiggins 20 points. Carolina Hurricanes dropped their penultimate game of the regular season last night, falling 4-2 to the Montreal Canadiens. Taylor Hall and Tyson Jost scored the 2 Hurricane goals. The Canes are already locked into their Stanley Cup playoff spot. Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show is next, and it's going to be very passionate, I can tell, right here on The Fan, Upstate. We'll be back while I get a Lulu.
appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com.
Kane, I don't have apathy in me. I want to tell you.
Does have avarice. And
I'm trying my best to be apathetic. It's going very poorly.
And hate and all the negative emotions. Will it lead to villainous intent or self-introspection? Stay tuned.
America.
Let's dance. Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo on the ones and twos. We collectively, all of us now together as one.
Speaking of collectively, we all are sending hugs your way. Just the sweet embrace of a deacon hug. I know you don't know what it is, but it's the best hug in the world. It's comforting. You just kind of lay your head down a little bit and just like, I could stay here forever. It's going to be okay.
I appreciate you. I appreciate
No, you
Kane.
don't.
I appreciate all of you so much. My baseball team gave me hope and expectation. They had me all sorts of jacked up and excited about potential in the future. And instead, I am just having to come to the recognition and realization that I am pulling for a loser baseball team. That's just all there is to it.
I'm sure Lulu will brighten your day.
I'm sure Lulu Kesin will. She's one of the brightest, most cheery people we've ever had the pleasure of speaking with here on the show. So instead of continuing to talk about my absolute Bodie Cheeks baseball team, let's talk instead to the lovely Lulu Kesin, who covers the South Carolina Gamecock Athletic Department for the Greenville News over in Columbia, South Carolina. Lulu, welcome back. Happy Thursday. How the heck are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm so sorry about the Braves. I don't know if I can help baseball-wise, but I can try to be my typical cheery self and at least provide some type of insight on something else to distract you.
I appreciate more than I can tell you, Lulu Kesin, that you're willing to do that. I wish that we could say that we will just turn our attention to Gamecock baseball, and that will make us feel better. But not exactly kicking butt on that front either. Not a bad baseball team, just not quite where I think South Carolina fans hoped it would be in year one of the Paul Mainieri era. Since this is, Lulu Kesin, our first time dialing in on the Gamecock baseball team as our focus, give me your thoughts on where this team is, what this team is accomplishing, where the shortcomings are, et cetera, and then we'll dial in onto the X's and O's.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say I don't have, a laundry list of thoughts only because I feel like that would be unfair from, coming in so late, having missed a lot because of basketball. I will say that a lot of people have a lot of really harsh opinions about this team. I think a lot of people are disappointed. I've heard other reporters, I've heard fans. I think overall, I've noticed just a lack of hitting, a lack of South Carolina just can't seem to score, can't seem to hit. And I was at the game on Tuesday and I wasn't too impressed in that regard. I just think that there's something looming this season that's kind of, for some reason, they're just playing just not well time and time again. And it's a reflection, I think, of a lot of different things. I think it's really easy to point fingers, but at the same time, I do think that it's both player and coach related.
Talk to me a little bit more about what you mean, because, on one hand, it is Pulmonary year number one. On one hand, you're talking to a guy who had a ton of success down at LSU, a guy that is kind of a legend down in Baton Rouge. On the flip side, a baseball team brought in a 67-year-old coach who had been out of the game for a little while. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what the expectation should have been out of Pulmonary. Was it going to be a couple of years to kind of like install a Pulmonary culture? If it's a young coach, we talk about how it's going to take some time. Eric Backage, when he got to Clemson, that was the conversation that we had, was changing the culture to meet the coach, whatever. I honestly don't know where I find myself when it comes to discussing Pulmonary and his South Carolina tenure.
Yeah, and that's a very shared feeling. That's very valid. I think that what sticks out to me is that his presser in June, he said, I don't have a 5-year plan. I have a 1-year plan. I want to win, in 1 year. And I respect his honesty there. And I don't know off the top of my head, and I should, how long his initial contract is or sort of the details on that. But I just think that he's in over his head in the sense that baseball in 2025 is so different because of NIL and because of the transfer portal. And although the players, maybe aren't directly receiving as much money right now as they may be next year with this new health settlement, like, the attitudes of athletes have changed. And I'm not saying that the reason South Carolina baseball is bad is because they have the wrong attitude. I just mean that I don't think that a lot, I wasn't in the hiring meetings, but I just think that although Coach Maniere's resume is lengthy and he's so talented, and I don't think this is entirely his fault, but I just think in some sense it was unrealistic to put him in a position to succeed in year one when everything was different. And a lot of that was sort of like, okay, well, this is all different. We're going to trust the fact that, he's won before. But at the end of the day, it would take almost a miracle worker. And like you're saying, you can give that young coach time to build a program. Heck, Dawn barely won her first couple of years at South Carolina, but I'm just curious, it just felt like a bold move after firing Mark Kingston, who in my opinion didn't have that bad of a year in 2024. So it's a tricky dynamic where you look at, okay, was it Kingston leaving the program kind of in shambles with recruiting and the portal, or is this really just a new era of baseball that's a little bit too difficult for Coach Maniere to grasp?
So that was a big concern. What you mentioned there at the beginning of that answer, Lulu Kesin, is kind of what I wanted to hammer on when this hiring got made. And when I used to broadcast down in Florida, we had a big LSU contingent. I was very familiar with Paul Maniere and his time at LSU. And a part of the reason that LSU eventually decided to move on, and it was LSU's decision, though they let Paul Maniere walk away, it was LSU that was basically gave them the old, hey, you can resign or we can resign you on your behalf. Part of the reason was because Paul Maniere, at that time, I think he was 64, 63, kind of made it very clear that like he was unwilling to change the way he wanted it done to meet the new era of college baseball. And as college baseball the last couple of years, I think I'll ask if you agree, has absolutely gained momentum and traction in terms of the nation paying attention to it, even if it's only for the college baseball postseason and the College World Series. That was kind of my fear, was you're bringing in a guy who already at one place made it clear that he was unwilling to change his ways of doing things. And now I'm asking a 67-year-old guy who is, and I say this with respect because me too, kind of bullheaded and stubborn, to come in and talk to kids that are even younger at 17 and 18 years old and now have more power than they've ever had before. I just got concerned about that hiring in the first place. And now he has a 5-year, $1.3 million per year deal to coach. I don't know how, what do we expect moving forward?
Yeah, no, that's also very helpful insight. And I think, too, exactly what you were saying about, like, yeah, he may have experience with college age, but exactly to your point, like the power and the agency that college athletes have right now is so different. And I mean, you've seen it in, I'm dealing with a lot of women's basketball transfer portal stuff, and it's so obvious that the era of sports we're in is like no other. And I think that moving forward, it's only going to get worse. And so the expectations here, it's tricky. It's like, do you ask him, I've heard people be like, he has to walk away after year one at this point. Like, how can you, have the worst modern team in modern South Carolina baseball history? Like, again, it's so tricky because I have a hard time, and it's also because I'm just less familiar by nature with baseball than basketball, but like, it's hard to figure out really what is the coach, what is the players, things like that. But I think that in this certain situation, it's just clear that stuff might be moving a bit too fast, and that anybody, no matter if this was a coach who was 45 and just not willing to change his ways or just being, so comfortable in a totally different environment and time, like, they're going to struggle. And I think that it's a really important thing going forward that athletic directors value and recognize, like, okay, we have to have conversations about the future. And at the end of the day, the success you had in the past is just going to mean a little bit less if you're not willing to fully dive into what, 2025 and beyond is going to be in college sports.
The reason this is a conversation, and Lonzo and I were talking about the Braves in the last segment, and he said, "Well, you're in last, yeah, but you're only 2 games behind the Nationals." And the thought for me, Lulu Kesin, was right, but the expectations coming into this year were don't be last in the division. The expectations were World Series. The expectations were compete for a National League pennant, compete for a World Series victory. So, yeah, if your expectations were don't be last, then, like, great, you're in a good spot to not be last. But when you enter a season with the expectations of be the best team in America, that's a tough spot. I think my thought here would be if South Carolina had the expectations of, be middle of the pack in the SEC and grow, then I probably am not as concerned as I am right now, not just about this year, but about the future with Pulmonary. But the vibes I got from South Carolina fans over the last 2 years was we expect Omaha. We expect to host regionals and super regionals. We expect to go to Omaha, and this team is not on target for that.
And I also think that it's a little bit, maybe I'm giving Mark Kingston too much credit here, but like, this wasn't a team that was broken. This team, lost, I think, by a few runs in the regionals last year. Like this, and the year before they made it to a super regional. Like, it wasn't a hire to fix a team that was just so broken. And I think that's why the expectations do have to kind of be a little bit harsher, because he wasn't walking into something that was in dire need of fixing. He was sort of like polishing and revamping. But I think that it's tricky when you have recent success, and yeah, maybe it wasn't Omaha, but you have, you make it to the NCAA tournament, and then you fire that coach, and then you're almost dead last the next year.
Lulu Kesin from the Greenville News joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. We've got a couple more minutes here with Lulu before we let her get back to her regularly scheduled Thursday. You got to go all the way back, Lulu Kesin, to April 4th to find the last conference win for this baseball team. It has been a minute. They've got an opportunity, a 3-game set coming up this week, hosting Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is a pretty good baseball team, right? Number 11 in the AP poll this year. Right now this week. This is a team that South Carolina is coming in as a clear-cut underdog for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, which is a little bit outside of the norm after playing a Tuesday game and knocking off the Citadel 4-0. This, to me, kind of feels like a pivotal series a little bit, because this, to me, even though, yeah, it is a disappointing year to this point, you can't get blanked 0-3 at your own crib against the Rebels, or I think there would be a turn towards the negative emotion, even though you do have a more friendly stretch of games with UNF and Kentucky and Charleston Southern coming up. What do you think this series against Ole Miss at home means to this baseball team?
Well, I think it means a lot. And after the win on Tuesday, Maneri had been pretty clear, and he was like, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was basically like, after Texas A&M, we kind of said like it can't get worse, giving up 2 grand slams and then losing the game on a walk-off. Like when you're up like 12-3, like it kind of can't get worse than that. I mean, it maybe can, but he said he was proud of the kids' response. So I do think that the effort and at least the desire will be there this weekend, knowing kind of like, okay, we cannot drop a goose. Like this series means so much, even though it's Ole Miss and still, mid-April. But I think that the response has been good in Coach Maneri's eyes, and hopefully that's enough to carry through for this series this weekend.
Lulu Kesin from the Greenville News joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstage. She was kind enough to join us all the way through the women's college basketball season. Now we shift our attention to baseball. And Lulu, before we let you go, I know obviously since you covered the football team as well, eyes on the transfer portal window yesterday. I know that Shano has been active in the portal in years gone by. I know we've had some players in, out. Any highlights yesterday, whether it's guys putting their name in the portal expectedly, unexpectedly, any activity as far as reaching out to guys in the portal? Was there anything of note yesterday from South Carolina after day one of the transfer portal that you think the people should know about?
Not from day one. Obviously, it's funny timing just because the spring game is on Friday. So there's been a mix of like being super vocal about the current program, but also acknowledging like the holes that are missing. But I do think that'll be obvious on Friday where Shane needs to go in the portal, just because the spring game, like everyone will play, and it'll be obvious like where the depth lacks and things like that.
We love it. Lulu Kesin covers the South Carolina Gamecock Athletic Department for the Greenville News. Kind enough to join us every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Lulu Kesin, one piece of advice for you before we let you go. Do not become an Atlanta Braves fan. It is not good for your health.
That's funny. I was listening to the game yesterday on the radio. And yeah, no, I'm good. I promise.
Yeah, that's what I said last night too. And then I came in here and I about popped a freaking blood vessel in my forehead earlier. I love sports. They're the best.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Lulu Kesin for the Greenville News. You can follow her on X at Lulu Kesin, LuluKesin. Talk to you next week, young lady. Thank you as always.
Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you very much, Lulu Kesin. Just the absolute best. Let us run to a break.
Why are you trying to put that on her? I mean, you try to bring her down near the end.
Advice.
No, you try to bring her down near the end. You just want to be that guy the rest of the way.
I was trying to do the opposite. I was trying to maintain her mental health and well-being by saying, don't watch or listen to the Braves anymore. It's not good for anybody. Take a break. Come back here in just a moment from now. Transfer portal window opened yesterday. We'll get into that. No Rashad Beard at 8:40. So, since the 9 o'clock hour is full, in the 8:40 segment, Lonzo and I are going to do a promo off. So here's what I'm going to do. Between here and 8:40 for the next 20-ish minutes, I want you to send topics that you want to hear Lonzo and I cut wrestling-style promos on to the Hub City Spartanburger text line at 844-326-3663. Any topic you want. I will choose a topic off of your list for Lonzo. Lonzo will choose a topic off of the list for me. We will spontaneously cut a face promo and a heel promo at 8:40 because it's WrestleMania week and we got to celebrate. The Rob Brown Show's here on the Fan Upstate.
Three friends.
All right, guys, quick break. We're back after this. Don't go anywhere. Send your suggestions for Lonzo and I's promo off, our heel and face off, as I'm affectionately referring to it as, for the next segment. It is WrestleMania week here on the show because, well, it's WrestleMania week. And in order to celebrate, Lonzo and I are doing a couple of things. Number one, we're going to do 2 fight clubs this week. We're going to do one as we normally do, coming up at 9:20 this morning. And we will do a bonus fight club tomorrow at 9:20 as we get set for the showcase of the Immortals coming up this weekend. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to do it today. Hey, we'll see how we feel about it. If we like it, we'll do it again tomorrow. If we don't, we won't. We're going to do a promo off. There is nothing more important in the world of wrestling than being able to talk, cut a promo, grab a mic, talk to other wrestlers, talk to the crowd, and do so in a way that is engaging. If you go see a movie, they could write the greatest story in the world. But if the actors stink and are unbelievable, you're not going to enjoy the movie. It is just acting at its finest. Now, when I brought up that it is WrestleMania week earlier in the show, I got a text, and we've gotten this text a handful of times, and I have addressed it in the past, but why not do it one more time again? A texter who wrote in, "Why are y'all talking about this? You know it's fake, right? Question mark, and for added emphasis, question mark. The answer.
You should write down that number just to see if it's the same person doing it every time.
I'll take advantage of the situation, even if it is. The answer, dear listener and dear texter, and we are certainly glad to have you, as we say every day, not every show is for everybody, but there will be something in the show for everybody. The answer, dear texter, is this. Yes, we are aware. I am aware that it is fake, just like I am when I pay to go see the new superhero movie. I am aware it is fake, just like I am when I sit on the couch and my wife watches Love is Blind, her favorite new show. I am aware that it is fake, just like I am everything else on every screen that I watch. I am aware. I do not watch it because I am heavily invested in the winners and the losers. I watch it to be entertained. And as I tried to tell a dear friend of mine a few days ago when we had a very similar conversation, it to me is like watching a Broadway play. It's that. Every time my wife and I go to New York City, and we're big fans, I love New York City. Every time we go to New York City, we make sure we give ourselves time to go see a play on Broadway. And we spend good money to do it. Why? Because those are people that are experts at their craft. And their craft is telling a story in a way that is enthralling, encapsulating, and entertaining, as well as believable. This is why the wrestlers who fade out are the ones who just don't make it believable. That's it. That's the only crime, is they don't make it believable. When we watch these stories because we invest in characters, just like you do when you watch a movie or a television show. The same way, honestly, that you do when you watch sports. It's the same thing. It is not a sport. I am happy to say it is not a sport. It is scripted entertainment in which a large chunk of the script is pretend to beat each other up improv style. I watch it for the entertainment value. I watch it for the storylines. It just happens to be that instead of, "Barbara, how long have you been cheating on me with Sam, my boss and also brother?" It's, "You took my championship belt and I want it back." Or, "You broke up my faction and you took my best friend." Right? It's the same approach. It is Broadway with violence. Fake violence, scripted violence, sure. We don't care. We know. It is about being invested in a story. And in wrestling, in sports, when you invest in a team, you invest in a team. Why? Because they represent you in some way, shape, or form. I am a New Orleans Saints fan because I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. It is my favorite place on planet Earth. I believe it is the greatest city on planet Earth because of the people that are there. And the people are represented by that fleur-de-lis. The people are represented by that team, even though the team is comprised almost entirely of people who are not from there. It doesn't matter. The team represents where I am from, where I am proud to be from. So they represent me. And when they succeed, I feel like, in a way, I succeed. And when they fail, I feel like, in a way, I fail. Wrestlers are portraying characters. And all of us gravitate, just like we do with movie characters, just like we do with songs, music, towards things that represent us, portray us in some way, shape, or form, or just entertain the crap out of us. That's all. That's all. And so this is WrestleMania, the equivalent of when the MCU drops Avengers Endgame. It is the culmination of stories that we have watched for 51 weeks since the last time we did this. These wrestlers have been telling stories for 51 weeks. And this weekend, most of those stories are going to tell their current chapter, their last chapter, their final chapter. And so I'm going to tune in to see how these stories end. And there will be some that I like and some that I hate. And I will be entertained by some more than others, et cetera, et cetera. But it is the grand finale. It is the final act of this play that has been going on for 51 weeks, telling stories, some with characters that represent me, some with characters that I am so diametrically opposed to that I actively dislike them and root against them, even though I know the result before they step foot in the ring. It doesn't matter because I don't. And so I'm going to root against the people that I feel like have some portrayal or representation of me and against the ones who don't as I watch this 51-week play be acted out in its Act 3, its grand finale. That's why we talk about it. And that's why, Lonzo, we celebrate WrestleMania week.
Yeah, you expect me to follow that? I'm not going to follow that. I'll just do that.
Good enough for me. So here's what I want y'all to do. During the break, whether you're in the live stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Fan Upstate on Twitch, on Twitter, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, send me your topics for Lonzo and I to cut wrestling-style promos on in the next segment. Or text them to the Hub City Spartanburger text line at 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. Text us your ideas for what we should cut a promo on. Lonzo will pick one for me to cut a promo on. I will pick one for Lonzo to cut a promo on. And we will see who cuts the better wrestling promo. It can be about sports, pop culture, life, whatever you want. Send us your ideas right now. The first ever Rob Brown Show Heel and Face Off is next on the Fan Upstate. All right, those of you in the stream, send us your thoughts. What do you want? What do you want us to cut promos on?
Including a combined 11 strikeouts from the top three in the order. Atlanta returning home to Truist Park Friday to begin a 3-game series with the Twins. PGA Tour today is round one of the RBC Heritage at Harbortown Golf Links in Hilton Head, the tournament traditionally held after the Masters. Scotty Scheffler is the defending champion. College baseball, Clemson hosting Louisville today to begin a 3-game series in the ACC. The Tigers took 2 of 3 last week from Stanford. They're now 33-6. South Carolina hosting Ole Miss today to begin a 3-game set. Gamecocks beat the Citadel on Tuesday, snapping a 3-game losing streak. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere.
Milk and cereal. All right, guys, give me just a minute. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. As aforementioned, it is WrestleMania week here across these great United States. There's been an idea that I have been kicking around as a potential topic for a long time, and we've never actually done it. But it feels like this is a good day, and this is a good week. For those of you tuning in to hear Rashad Beard, he is out this week on vacation with his children, and he said yesterday that his kids were more important than his appearance on the show, which is a little disrespectful, but I'll let him get away with it this one time. Rashad will return for draft week next week. Makes sense. Rashad's about to dive in hard with draft coverage next week. So we'll get Rashad back in here. So we're going to do this instead. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do the Rob Brown Show heel and face off. Here is the game. You guys have sent / are sending ideas for Lonzo and I to cut a promo on. Now in wrestling, cutting a promo is when a wrestler goes out there and grabs the microphone and talks. And you can cut promos on anything. You can cut promos on whoever you're in a feud with. You can cut a promo on the crowd and talk about how gross and stinky and dirty they are and how their sports team is no good, et cetera, et cetera. Or tell them how amazing their sports team is and how much you love their city and how you're out here to, help shape the world by winning world championships and proving that hard work and dedication and grit will get you where you want to go. You can cut a promo on anything. The best wrestlers in the world are the ones who can grab a microphone and off the top of their noggin, cut a promo on anything. So we asked you guys, and you may, up until we start this heel and face off in just a couple of moments, send your ideas to 844-326-3663 or drop them in the chat on the live stream. What would you like Lonzo and I to cut a promo on? Lonzo, as I sprung this on you earlier in the show, I will give you the option. Would you like to go first or would you like to go second in the first ever heel and face off?
Second.
You got it. I will go first. Have you seen on the text line, in the Facebook chat, etc., have you seen a topic that I do not yet know what it is that you would like me to cut a promo on?
It's hard to choose. It really is. I'm going to go with you have to cut a heel promo on Duke's Mayonnaise.
I knew you were going to. I freaking knew it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do it because it is acting. And I would like to preface my heel promo I'm about to cut on Duke's Mayo with this. Rob Brown, the actual person, loves Duke's Mayo. He believes that it is the best Duke's Mayo is the best mayo available in stores. It just is the best. But because this is the show and because I am here to cut a heel promo, I'm going to stand. I'm going to move the camera. I'm going to do like a wrestling thing. I'm going to put the camera down and angled up at me so it looks like you're all looking up at me. Because let me tell you something about Duke's Mayo, brother. You might think you're special, Dukes. You might think you're special. You're not. You're just mayonnaise. You're whipped up eggs and whatever other garbage they put into that garbage food that has done nothing but driven the obesity crisis in America. It's kind of your fault, Duke's Mayo. You look around, you go to the mall. What do you see? A bunch of fat tubs of lard buying more X's in their shirt than an adult novelty store because it's just a bunch of fatties. And it's partially because of you, Duke's Mayo. And then you have the audacity of, for some reason, thinking that you take one of the most bland, boring, and unnecessary condiments known to man and you do what? Oh, we put a tang in it. Your mayonnaise. Your mayonnaise tastes the same as every other mayonnaise. You should thank your lucky stars every day that Miracle Whip exists. Because if it wasn't for Miracle Whip being the absolute disgusting, filthy trash that it is, that's actual Rob Brown, then we'd all sit here and every day talk trash about you because you took a product that shouldn't exist at all and you threw out there, we put Tang in it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You took a handful of who knows what unorganic GMO bullcrap, and you threw it in a vat of concentrated fat nastiness, and you think it separates you? You think it makes you better than everybody else? You think for some reason you're special? You're just not, Dukes Mayo. I've eaten 1 million ham sandwiches in my lifetime, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would rather just eat a piece of bread and a ham and another piece of bread than put your slathered garbage onto my sandwich. You walk around and you say, oh, we're from here. We're from South Carolina. That should make you love us. So what? There's a lot of things from South Carolina. There's a lot of things from this place. And do you think they all get special treatment? Absolutely not. Just because you're from a place I'd like doesn't mean that I like you, Dukes. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to settle down. I need you to relax because you're just like every other mayonnaise. You're pointless. You're unnecessary. You add nothing to my food at all. The only thing you add to is the number of fat, worthless, trashy people out there with their oversized clothes because they can't just be normal and be in shape. And it's your fault, Dukes Mayo. So here's what I need you to do. Just disappear. Vamonos, go away. Take your stuff off the shelf and do a favor to America. Don't exist anymore, Dukes Mayo, because you do nothing good for anyone at all, and you should feel bad about yourself. End promo. I love Dukes Mayo. It's the best mayo in the game, and none of those things I just said were true. It was acting. There's my heel promo on Dukes Mayo, and I got to say, I kind of feel like I nailed it.
See, the problem I have with this segment is enterprising people can pull the thing and turn it into, oh, this person really has this opinion on this thing.
I mean, hey, if you would like to be willfully dishonest to make me look a certain way, that's on you.
There are some people out there.
Hey, I mean, listen, you got to take the shot for greatness. And that's how you do it. You just prove to the world that I am a world-class entertainer. I don't believe anything that I just said, but the people called for it and the people got it. All right. So there's my heel promo on Dukes.
I just want to say that's kind of long. So I don't know how long it's supposed to be. I mean, you know,
whatever you think is necessary to have an impact to get over with the crowd, whether it's babyface or you're trying to catch X-Pac heat, whatever the case might be.
I don't know that I'm good enough on radio to speak more than 3 sentences in a row.
Well, so, you better be impactful while being concise. Lonzo, Miss April submitted a suggestion for your promo. She said she would like you to go full Bailey style and cut a face promo on why giving hugs to friends and acquaintances as greetings and goodbye is a positive thing.
I don't know.
Hashtag hug life.
I don't know. I think I got the easy one.
Have at it, bud. Have at it, because I just nailed my heel promo. Here's your chance.
I don't know, man. This is going to be really difficult. Let me address hugs. Hugs are something that a lot of people they don't want it. They don't like touching. They don't like being so close to someone, especially someone they don't know. But hugs are like the hand of God. Hugs, when you meet someone for the first time and they come up and they give you a hug, you're like, that's my long lost brother. That's my long lost sister. I cannot believe I didn't know you before this moment, but now I do. And thanks to this hug, you and I are forever kin. We're related. We are brothers. We're friends. We're sisters. We're whatever gender we are. We're huggers. That's what we are. I last week was feeling kind of down, and I went out to the mall, and there's a large man. He was an older man. He come up to me and he's like, I love you, brother. And he just gave me a hug. And I took it as you should, as a greeting for anyone. I mean, most countries, Russia, bear hug. That's where it came from. It came from Russia. They give each other bear hugs. Why can't we do that here in America? I don't know why we can't. It's too much about me and not enough about us and about we. And that's what a hug is. A hug is about we. It's about us. So hug a friend, hug a stranger, hug a dog, hug a cat, hug a fish, hug whatever you can, and you'll feel better right here. Right here. It almost makes me tear up. Hugs, man. Hugs.
I like it.
I had real tears. They were coming.
I
but,
like
you know.
it. Joseph in the stream said, "Real thugs give hugs." I like it. I like it a lot. All right. I got to tell you, I'm saying 2 for 2 on the promos there.
Yeah, I didn't want to give a face. But
I know. You think I wanted to sit here and cut a heel promo on Duke's Mayo?
Come on, dude.
My beloved brand?
You doing a heel promo, it's just natural for you. The opposite would have been more difficult for you.
To cut a face promo on Dukes? I don't have to cut face promos on Dukes. I'll just tell you how good Dukes is all the time.
To cut a face promo on anything. No, the real thing, and no one suggested it, would have been for me to tell you to cut a heel promo on Bryce Young. That would have been amazing. But I'm not going to make that up. I went with the people on the stream.
For the record, of those two things, you did make me cut a heel promo on the thing I love more. So
wow,
yeah,
wow, I was not.
You know how much I love my precious baby boy BY.
I know.
But man, here's the thing. I think about BY about 3 times a week. I think about Duke's Mayo probably 7 to 9 times a week because I make sandwiches all the time. Big lunch sandwich guy. Sandwich, phenomenal lunchtime sandwich. Love a lunchtime sandwich. They're quick. They're easy. They give you different textures, different tastes. You can mix and match your cheeses and your meats and your sauces. Duke's Mayo on everything.
All I know is several different grocery stores and chains that I've been to, and Duke's is always full because no one buys it.
No, Duke's is always full because it flies off the shelf. So they just order another truck of it every day make sure they got plenty.
It's not how it works. You get trucks on Wednesdays, you get trucks on Fridays. You don't. I mean, So if you get to Saturday, if it's a big selling item, it would not be full.
All right, I am not going to ask you to compare our promos. I'm going to ask you to grade the promos. What do you get? Did we get over me as a heel on Duke's Mayo, Lonzo as a white hot baby face on giving hugs to your friends and your family? For the record, the list of stuff that I was worried you guys were going to give me as promo material, I got terrified of because, as James just said, a real heel face turn would be Rob joining the Falcons. I was in my gut nauseous about somebody giving me something like Rob saying, not saying, because here's the thing. I don't think that Lonzo's the type of cat that would cut my Duke's Mayo heel promo into a show promo that runs on the air. I don't think he's got that much evil in his heart, but he absolutely would turn something of me saying, guys, the Atlanta Falcons are awesome. He would 100% turn that into a promo.
No, I would not. I would not do that. I know what that means. There have been a lot of things that I could have done and I did not do. And I've joked about doing them. I've got into the office and I've got them ready and went, I can't do that to him. And I didn't do it. I didn't. There's a line. At least I have a line that I won't cross.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes. All right. What do you got?
So my line and your line are totally different places.
That is also true. They are subjective lines and they are often very gray lines. All right, coming up in the final hour of the show, 9 o'clock, next segment, we got the Hatin Ass one himself, Hatin Ass Mario Heron from the BetMGM Network going to join us. We'll talk some NFL draft with Mario. Then it is time. It is Thursday. You know what that means. Fight Club Are we going to talk like night 1 of WrestleMania,
Yeah.
night 2 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Night
do
1 of WrestleMania, we'll give you our thoughts, opinions, predictions, projections, and prognostications for night 1 of the Showcase of the Immortals coming up at 9:20. And then the final segment of the show, any and everything you want to wrap up the radio program. All of that after Lonzo and his pure white-hot baby face give you this sports flash.
It's not real. I mean, I need to shave today. If you don't want to see me as a pure baby face. The Dallas Mavericks will play again Friday because I'm so fat right now. It's like, yeah, baby's bottom. With hopes to enter the NBA playoffs after a 120-106 win over Sacramento last night. Anthony Davis scored 27 with 9 boards, and Klay Thompson added 23, including going 5 of 7 from behind the arc. Dallas will play Memphis Friday in an elimination game. In the other game, Miami will face Atlanta after beating Chicago last night, 109-90. The Heat were led by Tyler Hero's 38 points on 13-19 from the field, and Andrew Wiggins 20 points. Spencer Strider returned to the mound for Atlanta, gave some cause for optimism as the Braves pitchers went 5 strong innings, surrendering 5 hits and 2 runs while striking out 5. However, he was tagged with the loss as Toronto took their second of a 3-game series, 3-1. Hour number 4 of the Rob Brown Show is next, right here on the Fan, Upstate.
From the News Talk 98.9 WRESTLEMANIA Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan, Upstate.
Hey, it's Charlie James. You know, living with chronic joint pain is like trying to get comfortable on a cactus sofa.
I think the Bryce Young promo would have been more difficult for him than the Atlanta promo.
I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Greenville are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. They've already treated tens of thousands of patients around the country with regenerative treatments that help calm that debilitating joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. With QC Kinetics, the science is solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Everybody's trying to live healthy lives.
If you did, then that's proof that I'm right, that people who swear by it are cultists. You're in a cult. And I know I'm right about it. So, I mean, thank you for confirming that. Love of a product just to endear yourself to the locals, is that sincere? I don't know. Or maybe you come to love it eventually. Had someone try to do that with me, and I said, you know what, guy, fella, pal, buddy, it's just mayonnaise. That's all. So I don't need to endear myself to the locals. I don't need to pretend like I'm one of somebody just by liking your product. Not going to do it. Not. In the end, it's just mayonnaise. There's no real difference. It's whipped eggs. That's it. Maybe someone puts a little sugar in theirs. Maybe someone puts a little something else in theirs. In the end, it's mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is there not to take over the flavor of the sandwich. It's there to enhance. It's not. If you want a mayonnaise sandwich, you're weird. And some of you people are weird. Some of you would eat a mayonnaise sandwich, a Duke's mayonnaise sandwich, and probably would make sure that the bread was a certain brand too. In the end, it's bread, it's mayonnaise. Stop it. Weirdos.
I, on the other hand, have a
I'm a weirdo.
complicated and sophisticated palate.
You were indoctrinated and you went willingly in a need of acceptance. And so that's why you're there. And that's fine.
Nah.
I mean, to each his own, but they didn't get me, and you ain't going to get me.
I have a palate that recognizes sophisticated taste.
Duke's mayonnaise is not a 1%er mayonnaise. There's no such thing.
I didn't say 1%er. I said
everybody knows 1%er would be Grey Poupon. I mean, there are commercials about it and everything.
Palate.
wall coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft Thursday night, April 24th, starting at 7 p.m. Who will the Titans take with the number 1 pick?
Excuse me.
I hope you're not really a cultist, Kane. If you're used to being called a cultist, I don't know. Wait a minute. Dukes makes peanut butter? Oh no. Rob's gonna have to go out and get him some.
Yeah.
Stand on the corner and go, look, I like Dukes. I'm one of you.
No, they'll have to win me over. I mean, I got my peanut butter preferences that are lifelong. I'm a Jif smooth guy, Jif's creamy guy. My only peanut butter take is that crunchy peanut butter sucks.
You've got to have crunch in your peanut butter, or else you're just eating butter. I mean, you got to know, hey, peanuts were involved in this. It's funny that we're having a food take while they're playing a promo having a food take, because food takes are awesome. That's why. I bet Mario was not told that he had to like a certain brand of something when he moved to his new place of residence in order to be accepted.
Mario, do you have a mayonnaise preference?
No, not really.
It's just mayonnaise, dude. It's whipped eggs.
No,
I don't.
it's not.
Yeah, it's unless it's the marshmallow stuff. Give me a warning, but other than that, mayonnaise is mayonnaise.
You're telling me that when you go to the store, because you're out of ketchup, mustard, whatever condiment is most used in your house, you don't pick up the same bottle every time. You're not a Hunt's guy or a Heinz guy.
No, I don't care. The only thing that I won't do because of you and Mark Ryan is I will not buy Dukes. Not only will I not do it, but none of my family will either, because you guys are weird. It's mayonnaise, dude. I mean, you proselytize for mayonnaise. It's strange. It's not. I mean, it's. I don't know.
I proselytize for a lot of things. It just happens to be that Dukes is one of them. Mario Herron from the BetMGM Network, executive producer of BetMGM Tonight.
Try our mayonnaise,
which you can hear every weeknight from 7 to 11 right here on this and find Odyssey stations nationwide. You are telling me, Hatin Ass Mario, that you don't have condiment preferences.
All right, so this is very funny that you bring it up. I love peanut butter. Like, I put peanut butter, bananas every day, put it in my protein shakes. Like, I eat an absurd amount of peanut butter. I probably get a different brand of peanut butter every time I'm at the store. Like, I have a different rotation.
I mean,
and that's like the only condiment I really get. Like, I have Cholulu, and that's it. Like, I don't have mustard in my fridge. I don't have mayonnaise. I don't have ketchup. I don't have any of that.
I don't get it. Like, I got my staples, and that's not to say I won't try other things, but if it's coming back to my house, and this is like, I'm not buying more mayo, ketchup, mustard, whatever, till I'm done with this jar, till I'm done with this bottle, then I want to make sure that whatever I'm getting, I like. Now, if I go to the cookout and instead of Dukes, you got whatever, like, I'm not going to not use it. I'm just saying, if it's coming to my crib, it's going to be the thing that I prefer the most.
But you also got to have variation. You got to try new things, too.
I just said I try new things.
No, only when you're forced to.
Yes.
I will only bring certain things to my home
until I find something that I like better. Now, if I come to the cookout, you got a different mayo, I eat it, and I go, wow, this is better than what I get, then I will switch.
You know what? If you do that, you know what that means? Whatever was cooking was not very good. Because if you're tasting the mayo and you're not tasting the burger or what, then the burger was not good. because the mayo or whatever condiment you're using is there to enhance, not to take over the flavor of whatever it's on.
If
I didn't know we had
your
Gordon Ramsay here.
if your palate is only capable of one taste, it's just whatever I mush together is one taste, and you can't find the different flavors in a food, you have a childish palate. We're cutting heel promos today. I will be it.
Not all of us grew up on golf courses, okay?
You don't need to go up to a golf course and have food.
Some of us had to eat hamburger helper without the hamburger.
Yes, and now
Some
you're
of us
an
had to do
adult.
that.
Now you're a grown up, and you can eat
you're
whatever
right.
you want.
You're right. I'm a grown up, and I'm willing to try new things, unlike you.
Okay.
He's got a point. He does have a point there. He zagged on you.
Dude, I'm just convinced that Mario and Lonzo don't listen to what I say. Because I just said I will try new things, but it's got to be superior for me to go, I will bring the whole jar to my house and only eat that for the next month.
Excuse me. If your ketchup is not superior, I will not bring it into my home.
Right.
I will say there's nothing more frustrating, though, than this happened to me like 2 weeks ago. Someone was having a cookout. And look, I don't mind the healthy stuff, but I was like, oh, can I get like a little bit of ketchup? And it was like the really healthy ketchup that's a completely different ball game,
like the sugar-free, organic oh no, dude.
Try our
and I don't
ketchup.
even
We
like
made it
that
ourselves.
much. Like I'm a very ketchup only deserves to be on the side of the fries. You put it on my burger, I'm gonna fight you. Put it on a hot dog, I'm gonna break your face. Like that, I'm big on that. And I was just like, I need a little bit, and this thing's the worst thing of all time. If you really want to set me off, put ketchup on my burger, on my hot dog.
Wow, you guys
Right,
have
that's a bad
violent. You got violent food taste.
Yeah, that's a bad take.
Dude, it's like I'm telling you, if you hit me a hot dog with ketchup on it, it's going right back at you so quickly.
Bad take. All right, let's see if we can find a good take somewhere in Mario. Let's talk a little NFL draft. 1 week away, Hatin Ass Mario, and then I'll throw a couple of NBA questions for you in at the end. But let's start with this. My thought this morning was the best thing in the world for the Carolina Panthers would be if Shedeur Sanders drops past the New York Giants. All right, he's working out with the Giants today. Secret behind closed doors private workout. I think, as I said on your show on Tuesday, Shedeur's off the board 3 at latest. Maybe 2 to Cleveland, probably 3 to the Giants. But if he falls and Vegas passes on him, it's the best thing. Not because the Panthers are going to draft Shedeur. They're not. They've got their franchise guy in Bryce Young. But because he would go number 9 to the Saints, which makes that number 8 pick wildly valuable because there will be other teams that are maybe looking QBF, can develop Shedeur a couple of years, put him on the bench, stash him away for a little while, that might be willing to make the move up to 8. Do you think that's the reality? And do you think Shedeur could possibly be on the board when Carolina goes at 8, making that pick more valuable?
I'm every time I wake up and get like a second closer, a minute closer to the draft, I'm really starting to believe that Shedeur is going to go to the Giants. I'm like starting to really think like that's going to happen. And if that does happen, that kind of screws up this whole scenario. But if that doesn't, then yes, I do agree that makes the Carolina Panthers extremely valuable at that pick and be able to hear some offers, right? Be able to hear, maybe like get a call from the Steelers, right? And go, what do you really want to move up to get Shedeur Sanders? Because you're in a very tough spot right now. It seems as we get closer and closer to training camp and closer to the NFL season, it looks more and more in doubt that Aaron Rodgers is even going to play. And if you're going to really head into the season and try to convince us that Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback's a good option to go, then you're just lying to me and everyone in the world. So it does make the Carolina Panthers position a lot more valuable and able to do a lot of fun things. I really hope the Panthers end up with Tyler Warren. I think that'd be a great piece to throw at Bryce Young, where he's just going to be a good safety blanket and he's a good playmaker. And every QB loves a good tight end. And he's not only good, he's freaking great. So I think that'd be a great pick for the Carolina Panthers. But the Giants, I know Dable and Joe are saying all the right things, but I'm not sleeping on the fact of that owner coming in and going, look, we've gone how many years without a franchise QB? We are at what spot? Let's go get a guy like Shedeur Sanders. And then it's even perfect, too, because with all the pressure that comes with that kid, if you just sit him for a year behind Russell Wilson, I think that would help him a lot. help his development. And Brian Dable's a very good coach, very good offensive mind. He walked into a pretty friendly system. When he plays, he has Malik Neighbors, who's always open. That's very good for him, especially in a young player's development. I think it'd be a pretty friendly situation. And I hope the Giants do pull the trigger on that, because I like Brian Dable a lot. And I think if you draft a young quarterback, that kind of extends your contract just a little bit.
We are talking to Mario Heron from the BetMGM Network. The Tyler Warren pick is interesting because, on one hand, I agree. I don't get the same sense of anticipation for performance that I did out of, say, Brock Bowers last year coming out of Georgia. Like, that was a swing and a guaranteed homer. I think Tyler Warren's going to be very good, but I don't get Brock Bowers vibes. Tommy Tremble's been better for Carolina. They've got Jatavion Sanders out of Texas, who they drafted last year, who did not play much last year because of injury. I think you have to go edge rusher, and especially this year. Like, the conversation has been with quarterbacks getting more mobile. If you really think about the top quarterbacks at the league, with the exception of maybe Joey Burrow, like, they're all guys that are mobile. Edge rushers have been more important. I look at the NFC South with Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta, Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, and who the hell knows in New Orleans next year. Edge rusher could win you a bad division next year. As much as I agree with you, I would love to see a great tight end. I don't know that I'd be willing to say Tyler Warren is going to be better than Tommy Tremble, going to be better than Jatavion Sanders, versus go grab you an edge rusher like Michael Williams out of Georgia that can maybe win that division for you.
I think, though, that Tyler Warren, the part that, like, you mentioned in comparison to Brock Bowers, is Brock Bowers was just so in a league of his own in a tight end class that was, like, just not, like, the strongest, where Warren's coming into a class when people are literally saying pretty out there, like, you could get a tight end in the second or third round, and, like, they're like a first round talent at that position. So that doesn't help it, right? And then, we even had Mike Renner on this past week, and he said, he'd take Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren, and, like, just saying how good he is. And I that's not like a one-off, by the way, that I've heard. There's been multiple people from the draft that going, yeah, like, I think Colston Loveland's just right up there. It's just the production-wise, he didn't have a quarterback that could throw it past 10 yards this year, so his numbers took a dip. He just didn't see what he was capable of. That hurts Warren, because I think he is going to be everything that we think he is going to be and more, but it's just how crazy deep this class is, and the fact that there's a guy that's getting just as much love and will probably be just as good doesn't help his case. Edge rusher is great. I think it'd be a smart move too, but I think the smarter move is just get Bryce Young someone this early, especially with the guy, this offensive mind that you have with Dave Canales. Just get that weapon early. And, what if he hits the ground running like Brock Bowers? That helps Xavier Legette. That helps him progress. That helps Adam Thielen. Like, there's a lot of ways that can help this offense. And either way, you get an edge rusher or a tight end. That division is so weak. You just need one kind of spark of a good year, and you can win it.
What is going to be on day one, night one, whatever you want to call it? What do you think is going to be the biggest surprise? Is there anything that you're looking at and going, hey, this team might make a trade up, make a trade down, maybe pick a player who's kind of outside of the popular perception? Is there anything you think is going to be the holy crap moment on Thursday?
Maybe the Raiders getting really aggressive and going, let's trade up really quickly and just get Shedeur to be careful. That would be my what the hell moment, would be them getting aggressive. And I know it's not that hot of a take, and it's really looking like it's expiring pretty quickly. But I don't think Jackson Dart's going to go in the first round. I still don't think so. And if people are shocked by that, they're shocked by it. But, dude, I'm just begging everyone, just watch that Kentucky game. I know one game doesn't make a player, but just watch that game. I've watched that game 3 times now, and every time I go, if you think this guy is a first-round talent and that you should spend first-round capital on it, then boy, oh boy, you're in trouble.
So I want to address 2 parts there, and I'll start with the Raiders. I've said a couple of times, I've got 2 bets on Shedeur. I've got him at 50-1 to go to Cleveland, and then I think I picked him up at 5.5-1 to go to New York. I think that number's down to 4-1 or less than 4-1 now. I wouldn't be against taking a flyer for the Raiders to just outright draft Shedeur at number 6, though, right? I think if they're going to move up, there's nowhere to move but New York at number 3, because I don't think he's coming off the board at 4 or 5.
No, he's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't think the Raiders, I think basically, and this is a take I've had a couple of times, and this would be kind of the antithesis to what we were talking about with Carolina earlier. There is a chance that Shador is not picked up by Cleveland or the Giants, and then it's the Raiders' turn to make a decision. And the two names I've heard connected them the most at 6 are either Shador or Ashton Janty, and wanting to kind of build like a run-first, old-school Raiders mentality there. But I don't know with Pete Carroll there that's going to what they're going to be on board with, if they kind of want to build that Seattle Marshawn Lynch is our workhorse, and then we'll let Russell throw every now and then system. I don't know whether Shador comes off the board. I just don't think that the Raiders, I don't think it would make sense for them to trade up to 3, because the Giants are going to be a spot where they go, if you want him, you're going to have to give us a king's ransom, or else we take him here.
I think the loophole now is the Browns. The Browns at 2.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And another one that I saw this and I kind of convinced myself that I liked it was a Bears trade up to 2 and you take Abdul Carter. Because they desperately need an edge rusher, and you're the Chicago Bears. If you don't have a defensive stud, I mean, they have studs, don't get me wrong, but you need that it guy at rusher. And if they get like an Abdul Carter, you pair him up with Sweat, with that linebacker core, and then that secondary. That is a smoking hot defense coming at you this year with Dennis Allen, who's a very good defensive coordinator, but not a good coach.
Oh, gosh, is that true, Mario? How would I have ever known that? Yeah, why do you have to show me a jerk? It's completely unnecessary.
I got a haircut. That's why. I think it's a new ego.
You have the same haircut as like Monica from Friends, but in the bad seasons.
That's a really creative one. I have not heard that one yet. That's a very, very good one.
Way to use a modern reference.
I'm 40. What do you want? That was peak of pop culture in my life. We are talking to Hatin Ass Mario. All right, real quick before we let you go, Mario. Last night watching the play-in games, and came to the realization as I scrolled around on the interwebs that outside of gamblers, didn't really seem like anybody cares about the play-in tournament, with the exception of, to me, Steph and the Warriors going off to the point that I'm going to put a bet on them to win a 7-2 first-round series and pull it upset. The play-in tournament, I hate to say this, just get rid of it. It's got no point to it.
So I feel like the first idea was like, let's get like a young and upcoming team, some like early playoff experience, if you will, right? And instead it's just turned into, hey, these are just owners or organizations that aren't going anywhere and just actually stuck in purgatory and that are just fine with taking the NBA play-in, aka the Chicago Bulls, the Sacramento Kings, the Miami Heat. Like, yeah, we'll go ahead and take the play-in and then go from there and then do it again next year. So it's just lost its luster. It doesn't help that the Eastern Conference, by the way, is just an absolute disaster. I mean, it's just the Cavs, Celtics, maybe the Knicks need a lot of luck, and then everybody else. But the Western Conference, it's you get the Warriors in there, which is fine. You had Warriors Lakers a couple years ago. That was a great game, but it has kind of lost its luster. I am very curious into how this Warriors Rockets things go, because every for the people that like go into gambling and they look at the numbers constantly and they kind of go off by it all, right? You go, Houston, what do you mean Warriors going to win this one? It's all Houston, like that's the basis of it all. You like this team's one of the best defensive teams in the league. This team was 7th in points differential all year. They're an amazing rebounding team. Like, what do you mean they're going to lose? But then you go, all right, final shot left. Here's the ball. Who's going to shoot it? Fred VanVleet. Nice. You know what I mean? Jalen Green. Thompson, who's a very good player, but he's just not, like, he's very young. He's only 20 years old. Like, you think he's ready for that kind of moment? And does he have that shot creating ability? When you look on the Golden State Warriors, you're like, there's two guys that have either won a title or taken their team to a title all on their back. And they just proved in a play-in that they can do it again. And those minutes, by the way, when Curry's on the bench and Warriors were just kicking the snot out of the Grizzlies, that made me really worried for any team that faces them. So I'm with you on the upset. But it's just fascinating to me, the eye test versus the kind of analytics of it and kind of what that will lead into in this series.
Hatin Ass Mario Herron, the executive producer of BetMGM tonight. You can hear that on this and find Odyssey stations worldwide every weekday from 7 till 11 p.m. on the BetMGM network. My man, appreciate you swinging by. Next week, draft week, we'll get you back and make some predictions, pal.
Always a pleasure. Lonzo's right as he always is. And the only thing I got for you before I go is Knicks in 5 and Lakers in 6.
Ooh. I actually like both of those picks, to be honest with you.
Thank
I
you.
really do. We'll talk some NBA playoffs and NFL draft when Mario returns next week. When we return, it's Thursday. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. It is WrestleMania week. Our night 1 discussion is next for Fight Club with Lonzo on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Can I ask a WrestleMania question?
Yeah, obviously.
Really quickly, because I'm not understanding it. So why does Logan Paul get, like, does he wrestle on the other stuff, or he just pops up every WrestleMania and you toss him a guy?
No, he's a full-time wrestler.
So he does like the SmackDowns and the Raws?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He's been absent some lately, but I think he also signed a deal where he doesn't have to be there all the time. But there are other guys like that. As far as celebrities go, Rob hates him, but he's also been one of the best celebrity wrestlers of all time. Dude's pretty good. He really is.
So
He's also.
Does that not piss off all the wrestlers though? Like that's the part I get confused about.
I'm sorry, Rob was going to talk about how a bad person.
Yeah, he
Logan
sucks
is.
as a person.
And so do a lot of people.
He's awful.
It's, there's a ton of actors that do really bad things. But so what was your question again, Mario?
No, I just didn't know if that pisses off other like wrestlers.
Him.
Would just be like, yeah, you're not here all the time, but like you're.
Well, Roman Reigns is hardly there. A lot of these guys, when they reach a certain celebrity, they start going Hollywood. When they start going Hollywood, that's why they have basically minor leagues of wrestling and their next star, they bring them up. Either they work or they don't. And if they don't, they bring another person in. So
okay, that's
just like on soap operas where, people die and then they bring someone else in and they're there for a long time. Although soap opera people, they take forever to die. I'm not being mean about it, but there are people on there like in their 70s and 80s. It's just not that I watch anymore, but I had to when I was a kid because my mom made me. So
that's my mom rips it too, and I'm always wondering like, Mom, what's the how are we still going? Like some of these geezers, I'm like, dude, how is this? What's the storyline, man?
Well, and as far as soap operas goes, it's it's based on everyday life to a degree, and people are born, people die. That's just like life, I guess.
Wow,
philosophical Lonzo over here. I love it.
That was very deep. All right, well,
there you go. There's your wrestling question, Mario. I will text you to talk WrestleMania this weekend. I expect you to watch.
I won't watch, but I have a friend that's working it, and
working it.
Yeah,
You mean working there in Vegas?
He does production. He's doing like the production for it.
Nice. I'm not. I'll be here.
I was going to say
Vegas.
It's in Vegas. Yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm interested. I won't watch, but I'll listen to you talk about it because I find that more fascinating.
He's judging is what.
No, I'm not judging at all.
Okay.
I like hearing people talk about it more than I like watching it. I find the behind the scenes stuff more fascinating than the actual thing. So I'm just like, dude,
you should go. You should go to a wrestling event, and especially a TV thing, and sit behind there. Whenever we get tickets, we're always sitting behind where all the TV people and stuff are, just to watch how well oiled they are, because this has been on TV for so long, and they're so good at it. Like in between when the commercials are going out and changing the ring around, just from that standpoint, about this being basically a production company moving from town to town and doing that it's really, really cool.
Take your word for it. All right, I'm gonna go. Oh jeez.
Show prep, I assume.
Yeah, show prep and get on the squat rack and get ready for WrestleMania.
get on the squat rack. Good Lord.
I'll see you, fellas.
Are you gonna do some?
See ya, buddy.
You gonna do some chub numbers on the squat rack? Are you? You gonna do that?
I'm gonna put Logan Paul's just body on my phone and just stick it right ahead. And just
There you
stare
go.
at it.
Motivation.
See
See you, Mario.
Later, dude.
He didn't wait for you to say goodbye.
Nope, sure didn't. What a jackass.
I decided to not go at him on the other thing.
Yeah.
Because
oh, that's right.
Because he agreed with me on everything.
Yeah, and that's obviously more important.
I mean,
that's obviously more important.
Bros, man. That's what you got to do. Take care of your people. It's weird how most of your people become my people. I don't know why that is.
All right, let's not go with your people.
Yeah, well, I mean, welcome into the Fight Club where
we talk about wrestling.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
It was a pregnant pause for me to talk about how our people are your people are our people, and we're all people together, except I like to smack your people. I mean, there's that, because your people are bad people. It is that time of year when WrestleMania happens.
Are bad people.
I wasn't talking about you specifically.
Oh,
okay. That was, usually when I'm introing, I'm talking to everyone. I get it's me and you in the room, but we have a larger audience of people listening. So in the Fight Club, I just want to talk about WrestleMania. We're going to talk about night one, but the fact that I've seen them all. And yes, that means I'm old, but I have seen them all. And the very first one, I didn't get to see it live, but it was on closed circuit TV, and it was also on those big, huge satellite dishes. My uncle, who's rich, recorded it on like a 300-pound VCR, and he brought it over to my papa's, who was bedridden, and I watched it, just me and my papa and my uncle, with that 300-pound VCR. I'm guessing VCRs got lighter by the time you were old enough to understand what a VCR was. But back in the day, listen, that was you know how many WrestleManias there been?
Yeah, I do. They put the numbers on the end.
They do, and we're at 41.
Yeah,
that means their WrestleMania is older than you are.
WrestleMania is 10 months older. No, wait. Wasn't the first one in 85? Was it WrestleMania 1 in 85?
It probably was.
I think it was. I think it was it was March 31st, 1985. I am officially 6 days older than WrestleMania.
Wow, look at you. Okay. Yeah. Because my papa was still alive, and he died like the next year. So it was one of the last things I got to do with him. All right. There are 7 matches on night one of WrestleMania 41. Let us start with which I don't know if they put match order out. We know what the main event's going to be, but I don't know if they put who's going to which this is what I think is going to start the show. World Heavyweight Championship between friend of the show Gunther and Jey Uso. I think that starts the show, and I hope it does, because either start the show or finish the show. I think that, especially at WrestleMania, it's a big deal. You don't think so? Being the first match out on the first night.
Here's the thing. This is a weird spot where it comes to booking, because you got to play the crowd right? And you don't know. I know you.
Wow.
I don't think agree with me on this.
Wow.
I know, and I don't think you agree with me, that Jey Uso is not over. Jey Uso's entrance is over. I don't think Jey Uso. In fact, if anything, I think Jey Uso has fallen off.
It's a Seth Rollins thing. I've talked about a song a bunch, and you, I believe, don't agree with me.
No, because
on that.
Seth Rollins puts on a good match.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins puts on a good match. You don't have to like him, but he puts on a good
Here's
match.
the thing. You can't put a bad match against Gunther. He's too good. I mean, you put the worst wrestler in there against him, he's going to make them look good.
I understand that. But if Jey Uso beats Gunther, then Jey Uso has a belt, and then he has to put on good matches. Right now,
he can lose it the next night.
Would not trust, even for a night, Jey Uso with that belt. He's just not there. When my man, if you're going to be even in the discussion, you got to be able to hit your finishing move. And he's just screwing that up. I love Jey. I hope Jey figures it out. But the reality is Jey Uso's entrance is over, because go watch any of the matches from the last handful of weeks. When Jey is in charge of them, they are dead. They are boring. Jey's entrance is over. So I don't know if you start the show with that, because you know the crowd's going to get white hot, going yeeting all over the place. Or if you don't start the show with that, because if you start the show with a great entrance and then the match stinks because Jay's not up to it, you're setting a bad tone for the show. I don't know how to handle that.
I don't think the match is going to stink, and I think Jay's going to beat Gunther, and here's the reason why. I think they're pushing for somebody else to be the next champion, not Jay. Jay will lose it to someone, but I just don't. All this hype, he's lost to him a bunch. Could he lose again? Yes, absolutely he could. But I think Jay wins this match.
I do too.
I know you're gonna be disappointed, but I think he wins.
I will again. Like I hope. Here's what I hope. I hope dude surprises the crap out of me, shows up and just puts on an absolute clinic. I hope he shows up and puts on a classic. I hope we come in Monday and I go, damn, that was incredible. Well done. Do I think that's going to be the case? No, because I think he would have been working up towards that, and frankly, he just hasn't. Unless that is the gimmick right now. And he's going to show up and put on the match of his life. But right now, I just don't believe that's going to be the case.
All right. Mason on stream says it has to close night one because Jay won the Rumble. So his title shot main events one night at Mania, or so I thought it always has been. That's what they say. So it's not going to be, though, because Roman, CM Punk, and Seth, they've already said is a main event. But they can go double main event, or they could say every match is a main event. Because, all right, the next match, which could be one of the best matches of night one, and it's a shame that Chad Gable can't be there to witness this, but Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I cannot wait for this match.
An all-time icon.
I wish it was a mask versus mask match, because that would be great. And then we finally get to see who's underneath the mat. We've all seen Rey Mysterio, but we have no idea who El Grande Americano is. I want to know who this guy is. So this is going to be a very, very good match. Ray just posted something earlier, or someone did, that he hasn't lost since like 2002 or something at WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio is going to win this. It's going to be interference.
I don't know about that, because
you know what would be the best kind of interference? If Chad Gable comes out and interferes.
That would be the greatest thing that's ever happened in the history of wrestling. Just because
it's not out of the realm of
possibility. I gotta tell you,
possibility.
Gable and El Grande Americano would be the greatest tag team of all time. So I hope that happens. However, I would not be shocked to find out that Chad Gable has suffered some sort of injury during the pregame show and is unable to not just wrestling, but can't even show up to WrestleMania, right? And then El Grande Americano comes in.
What
and
if we
represents
found out it was actually Bryan Danielson underneath that mask?
That would be
that
hysterical.
He shaved his beard and it's actually him.
That being said, I don't know, man. I kind of hope that after the decades and decades that El Grande Americano has been representing both the people of Mexico and the Gulf Coast of the Gulf of America, Mexico, whatever it is, I would like to think that his expertise and experience, despite the fact that it's taken him a very long time to make it to WrestleMania, that the decades of experience of El Grande Americano is going to carry him. Give me El Grande Americano.
All right. We're already we're not doing this for Nerf Wall.
Good, because I really hate that pick.
Yeah, because WrestleMania will be going on during the show Saturday, which is always fun. World Tag Team Championships, the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar versus the New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods. New Day has to win the belts, don't they? Don't they? I mean, if you're going to act like the tag team titles are worth anything, they've got to win the belts. They absolutely do. And the best place to do it would be at WrestleMania to really get them over as heels, which I think they've done a great job. You don't see them enough. So I'm going to go with the New Day to win this match.
I'm back and forth. I'm up and down.
My very first interview, by the way, wrestling interview, was Xavier Woods. So I got to go with him.
Here's what I'm going to say. I don't care honestly, I don't even care about what happens in this match. And that is a bummer, because the New Day's turn, and I mean this, might be the most wasted opportunity WWE's had in 5 years. These kids were nuclear heat when they turned on Big E. And then they just put them in a feud that wasn't really a feud, but was kind of a feud, but wasn't a feud with LWO for like 6 months. That was pointless and did nothing and accomplished nothing, whatever. It's the biggest wasted opportunity. There is one way this matters. One way. And it's that Big E gets involved in one way or the other. Either he comes out and he costs them the match, or he comes out and he joins them as their manager and goes, you guys were right. I should have pushed harder, and I didn't. And he heel turns with them. Those are the only two. If Big E's not involved, I don't care about the outcome of this, which is a bummer because I love Kofi and Xavier.
All right, a couple other matches to get to. There are 2 matches on this card, and they involve women that could actually turn to real physicality. Receipts given, and one of them is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And Jade's been off a while. Hopefully she's been practicing a lot, because if she hits Naomi stiff, she might knock her out.
For the record, I think I've got to give Jade Cargill credit for this. I've totally bought in on the I'm real ticked off motif. I don't think that she's the Charlotte Tiffy time thing. Like, there's a part of me that thinks, no, they genuinely, sincerely do not like each other. And it's kind of bleeding through. I think, honestly, Jade Cargill, my take the whole time has been really, really good as a character actor. Just not a good wrestler. The reason I think you pair her up with Naomi here is Naomi's kind of the opposite way around. Like, good character actor, really good wrestler. She can put on some good matches. So I think this is really Jade Cargill's opportunity to show, like, I've got frontline main event opportunity here, and I hope that she does, because she's got everything else that she needs to be a legitimate icon.
By the way, I don't think there'll be a winner.
I do, but I think it's gonna be influenced by Bianca one way or the other. And the question is, are they going to turn her, and do they do it here, or do they do it in her WrestleMania match?
Good question. All right, the next match, we got just 3 more left for night 1. United States Championship, LA Knight versus Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
You know who I'm pulling for?
Are you going to yell Fatu, or are you going to yell yeah?
I was going to yell yeah, but then I realized, like, listen, you say what you want. Jacob Fatu is incredible. He is a total package wrestler. And as much as I love LA Knight, yeah, the answer is Jacob Fatu's not just going over, he's going to the moon, unless somebody else gets involved here as well. And I'm not saying who it would, but I'm just saying if somebody was they would come out by themselves, alone, unaccompanied, solo.
Well, oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah, that could be a thing. We'll see. I don't want to see Jacob Fatu versus Solo. I don't. I want to see Jacob Fatu against some of the we got to see him against Braun Strowman. I love those matches. I want to see him go up against some of the big names. I absolutely do. I think Fatu wins. WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Things of I'm not so sure this is not all a work. Charlotte's good enough to make this a work, to make that whole thing look awkward on purpose. But Tiffy keeps the belt.
She has to. If Charlotte Flair shows up out of nowhere after being gone for however many months and automatically wins the Rumble.
She had major recovery from injury. I mean,
it's not about how long she was gone.
And other work done.
If she, 100%, if she is gone that long and then just shows up and wins the Rumble and then shows up and they strap the belt on her at WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair is going to get go home heat. Not nuclear heat, not good heel heat. I mean, go home. We don't want you here anymore heat. Sorry about it. She just is. So I don't think they can move it over. That last Friday Night SmackDown promo, where Charlotte desperately reached into the why is Kaiser in my DMs, which is just like, that's the female version of your football team sucks as the cheapest way to get heat. Why's your boyfriend DMing me? When even like Kaiser on Instagram immediately was like, yeah, nope. Hey, let me put it this way. In the history of pro wrestling, Kaiser's the first guy that when another girl goes, he's in my DM, everyone in the wrestling world went, no, he's not.
All the more.
Are you kidding me?
All the more reason to make it true. If Vince McMahon was there, that's exactly what would happen.
100%.
Yeah.
But he's not. I got to tell you, Charlotte needs a reset. Charlotte needs a total character reset. And this is the chance to give it to her. On top of that, you don't have to like it. You will learn to love it. You know what time it is? It's Tiffy time.
Yeah, Charlotte will be going to SmackDown or to Raw, and they'll get if it's real, they'll flip them and get them away from each other. Finally, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. A lot of people out there pointing out how many times Seth Rollins said business in his latest promo. Some people are poo-pooing, saying there's no way that Seth Rollins would also sell his soul. I believe it. I believe that Seth Rollins is a Dwayne guy, and Seth Rollins wins this match.
I hate to say I agree with you because I don't know right now how you put either of the other guys over either of the other guys, right? Like I think the whole thing with Paul Heyman has been a lovely distraction. I think it's been a fun little distraction. Here's the thing. I don't think I don't think Seth Rollins sells his soul, which is The Rock's thing right now. I think Paul Heyman basically gets to a point where he goes, I love both of you. I can't choose between the two of you. I don't want to choose between the two of you. So I'm going to take the third way out and I'm going to go with Seth. I'm going to let you guys beat the hell out of each other. And then whatever. I think there is a way out for Seth. When they added him to this whole thing, I was like, oh, Seth's the guy that's going in there to eat the pin so that neither Roman nor Punk go over the other. You keep your two hottest stars available there. But the more I think about it, and especially after Monday night, the more I'm thinking Seth's in there to win this thing at this point. And because aside from all that, Seth Rollins has been the most consistent workhorse on that show for about 6 years running now. And I think he gets his reward for that now. So we'll see. All right, we'll break down the night 2 of WrestleMania tomorrow at the same time. We got to come back. We'll wrap up the show, the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, one last read and we're coming back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you.
Sorry we were away for so long. I think Rob's trying to beat the next level of something. I'm just guessing.
Is that 3?
That is 3.
Whoa.
3-1.
Oh, no. Well, like 2 months without a loss. Now I'm about to lose back-to-back weeks.
You're exaggerating. I think there's a tie or two.
There's like 6 months without an L.
Wow, look at you.
I didn't say no ties. I said no L's.
You're right. Oh, we're going by soccer rules.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Lonzo, I need you to get the glass because we have legitimate breaking news. This isn't even sarcastic breaking news. This is actual breaking news. Brought to you by our friends at BetMGM and the BetMGM network. Make sure you listen to Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4 and the outstanding programming on the BetMGM network, and get the BetQL app today. In an effort to curtail players faking injuries, the NCAA announced just mere moments ago, according to Heather Dinich, that its playing rules oversight panel has approved changes to the injury timeout rule starting this fall. Under the new rule that was approved officially yesterday, if medical personnel entered the field to evaluate an injured player after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew for the next play, that player's team will be charged a timeout. If the team does not have any timeouts remaining, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed. So from this point forward, if medical personnel enter the field to evaluate an injured player after the ball is spotted, that is a timeout. If you are out of timeouts, a delay of game penalty will go into a play. The proposal to adjust the injury timeout rule resulted from teams faking injuries allegedly to stop opponents' momentum or avoid using an allotted timeout. Prior to the 2021 season, writes Heather Dinich, the NCAA decided to allow schools or conferences to request that Steve Shaw, the NCAA secretary, rules editor, and national coordinator of officials, conduct a post-game video review regarding questionable actions involving injuries. If Shaw determined that a player had faked an injury to manipulate the clock, the offending team's conference was notified, and any possible disciplinary action could be made by the conference office. The rule change for next season will provide an in-game way to curtail the faking of injuries because, quote, the Football Rules Committee members think these actions negatively affect the overall perception of the game. Shaw told ESPN he will continue to review film if asked, but his role is not to determine if a player was actually hurt. It's to decipher if a team took advantage of an injury timeout to gain a, quote, unmerited advantage, end quote. Shaw said on average he was asked to review just over one potentially fake injury per week. The Rules Committee put together a 9-minute video of moments that could have been construed as feigning injuries from last season. I assume of that 9 minutes, probably 7 minutes and 45 seconds were Ole Miss, but we'll see. Remember, the conference commissioner that actually spoke out the most about this was Greg Sankey of the Southeastern Conference. He was the one last year that was like, yo, this is anti-spirit of the game. Now, whether or not you believe he was being sincere or he was just overcompensating for the fact that Arkansas did it, Ole Miss did it, Alabama maybe did it a little bit. And he was just trying to protect the brand by being like, no, actually, we really think this is a bad thing, up in the air. But apparently the rules have been approved to be changed in order to prevent it from happening in the future. And for the record, I actually do agree with the reasoning why it is a negative perception of the game. I am a soccer fan. What's the number one thing that I hear when I try to win people over to soccer fandom? I can't watch a sport where they dive all the time, Rob. They flop, 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 flop. And even though that is, yeah, sometimes true. Sometimes, not as much as you make it seem like. Sometimes true. It 100% is a negative aspect or element to the game to American fans. Well, there's nothing more American than college football. We will break this down further on tomorrow's edition of The Rob Brown Show.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
But for now, it's time for What the X, where I tell Rob there are things Xing, and he will let us know and wow us with the fact that he knows what all of it is.
I do my best.
Yes. Great track record this week, but it's probably also my fault. All right, the first thing it's Xing is Daredevil.
Season finale?
Yes.
Right? Season finale dropped yesterday or
Tuesday.
drops today?
It dropped Tuesday.
I am not caught up yet. I will say this.
I am as of yesterday. Yes.
And?
Dude. I can't.
I'm not asking you to tell me what happened. I'm just asking are you happy with this season of Daredevil?
I am very happy, and I'm extremely happy with the season finale. The other reason why it's Xing is they've already announced that we knew they were filming season 2. It'll be out next year, so we won't have to wait 2 years. It'll be out around this time next year.
Okay. I really like it. It is not as good as so far. I got 3 more episodes to go, waiting on the wife to get home because she actually likes. That's how I know it's good. She likes it. The stuff, the MCU stuff she likes. That's the stuff that I usually define as really good. When she cried, when Tony did the thing, that's when I was like, yeah, they did a good job here. She likes it. I liked the Netflix saga better so far, but I also acknowledge that in the tonal shift of the show, moving it over to Disney Plus with the history with the Netflix series, I knew that there was going to be it was going to take some time to kind of shift the tone over to it's a continuity of the old season, but also not that.
The new showrunners that had to take over near the end of the season that did season episode 1 and the last 2 episodes, I believe.
Yep.
You can tell the difference. Trust me.
Okay.
The last 2 episodes, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's like that. So definitely good. All right. I don't know why I went Rain Man there. Definitely
happens.
Good. Definitely
happens.
good. Definitely. Jennifer Garner is Xing.
Jennifer Garner is Xing. Of course, Elektra from back in the day. I don't know why she's Xing though. Did she go into space?
No, it's her birthday.
Okay.
If she did, it would have been a lot. I mean, people would have been glad that she came back. Yeah, it's her birthday.
Okay. For the record, Jennifer Garner, I thought in the Deadpool v Wolverine movie was perfect.
Yeah.
For what we needed Elektra to be in that movie and the role she needed to play in that story, I thought she was perfect. I kind of hope she shows up in Doomsday. Even if it's because I expect the offshoot characters, Gambit, Channing Tatum, etc.
Well, he's already been announced. So
yeah, no. I know. I'm saying in that movie and in that role, I expect him to die. Maybe not Gambit, because the way that they ended with the post-credit scene of Deadpool Wolverine, I'm like, maybe they are going to try to do something here. But I expect a lot of those one-off shoot cameo characters to probably die, and that's how they set up. Because if Victor Von Doom doesn't end, and I'm not just saying end people, I mean Drew Barrymore in the opening of Scream, end people that you go, what?
Yeah, some people are going to die.
Then you haven't raised the stakes from Thanos, and Victor Von Doom needs to have higher stakes than Thanos.
A good portion of the X-Men are toast. All right.
Without a doubt.
How old do you think she is?
52.
53. It's amazing.
By the record.
That she looks really good at 53. All right. The next thing that's Xing is Ashton Genty.
Ashton Genty is Xing as we are 1 week away from the National Football League draft because people are speculating where he's going to land. Everybody's thinking the Raiders. I don't think so unless Shador comes off the board of the Giants. If the Giants don't take Shador, I really think the Raiders do. I don't know if that's why he's Xing.
There's workout videos of him going LeBron and having his shirt off and running. And apparently it's okay for him to do it. It's not okay for LeBron to do it.
I mean, as long as has anybody checked in on Isaiah Thomas and how he feels about it yet?
No, not yet.
Somebody check in with Isaiah. We all want to know what Isaiah has to say.
All right. And finally, Tony Khan is Xing.
Tony Khan is Xing because was it Nick Khan that called Nick Khan said going into WrestleMania, he's like, we're WWE. We always view ourselves as the underdogs, and he goes on and on. And then basically he just gave Shad Khan a bunch of credit for propping up AEW and like completely avoided Tony. He's like, yeah, no, congratulations to that guy for funding this nice little project. Oh, it's pretty rough.
It was a straight up diss for that, which
yes, it was.
I thought was kind of funny. But he's also Xing because AEW just passed up WCW as far as episodes go.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Some people are wondering if the company would last as long as it has.
Listen, I think it has gotten to a spot where you have to look and go, AEW is going to, until Tony changes his ways, remain a niche company. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I'll still go to every AEW show within 100 miles. But it is what it is until they aren't that anymore. Speaking of aren't that anymore, on the air, that's what we aren't anymore. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later.
They done done. They done kicked your ass, son. Woo!
All right, kids. I got to go pick my wife up from the airport, so I got to jet. Thank you for all being here. You're amazing people. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to retire. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Bye.